All right,
All
we're
right.
getting the wheel going. We're about to spin the wheel.
The wheel.
Of introduction. Who
The
will
wheel
it
of
be?
introduction.
Who
Who
won't it
is
be?
it? Who is it?
No,
Who
no,
is
it's
it?
always me. It's
not
always
always
me.
you.
It's
Well,
Dylan.
it
always
feels like
you.
it's always
It's
me.
not always you.
Confetti. Let me see it. Yeah.
Confetti.
Yeah.
All right, I'm starting in 3, 2, 1. What is going on, everyone? Welcome back to the All New Nerds podcast. If you can't tell, me and Johnny, we got
We're in the
a
same room.
work in progress set, but
Woo.
I don't know. It actually came. I was surprised when I walked in and saw it actually came
You
together.
can't
pretty
tell.
good.
Please see a doctor. But
It's that. Look at this poster. I just
Oh, this
original
sucks.
trilogy, sequel trilogy, prequel
Prequel
trilogy. What's
trilogy
going on
on the
with that?
bottom.
what an order. What
That's
a weird
cool.
order.
It's a weird
But
order.
But we got R2, we
Anyways.
got the helmet, we got me and Johnny if you were interested.
Yeah.
Of course, we always got Levi and a very, very special guest, friend of the show, Brent, AgeofGrogu.
Grogu.
Hey guys, how you
Hey,
doing?
Grogu people.
It is the Age of Grogu. That's not a lie. But
The man
Brent,
defined an age of Star Wars.
Yep.
he really
Look,
did.
there's Levi with his little Grogu there.
Little Grogu.
Hez
Very cool.
dispenser Grogu.
Oh, I
Dispenser
didn't
Grogu.
see that.
You went all
Yeah, he's
yeah.
hiding right there.
Wait,
Little
what?
hiding. It's a little Pez dispenser.
It's right on
Grogu.
his mic. I didn't
On
even
the
see
mic.
it.
Oh god, that's funny. I didn't
It's a
see
little.
that.
It is a little tiny
That's
Yeah.
cool.
That's
I
cute.
like it.
Okay.
But
Balance there.
Brent, how are you
Yes.
doing on this fine day?
I am great. Yeah, I'm very cool, guys. It's finally nice to get to be on. And
I know, it's
hey, look
been
at
a
this.
long
The
time
two of you
coming.
in the
Great to
same
have
room.
you.
The two of you in the
I
same
know.
room. That's kind of
That's
cool.
crazy.
Crazy.
Wow.
Defining an era.
Very cool.
Yeah.
And on the point.
Yeah, but
just
thank you for coming on though.
for the
Oh yeah,
record,
no, totally. It's fun. Yeah.
It is a weird poster. Like 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, then 1, 2, 3. What a weird
Oh,
watch.
the
Yeah,
poster?
That
Yeah,
is
I don't know
weird.
why.
Yeah. That makes no sense. That's kind of bizarre.
It was
Did
probably
they try,
made
did they
like
try
in
to? Yeah, that's weird.
the last
I,
year.
I,
order.
I
don't
did
know.
pick up
Anyways.
one of the other posters where it's the long, thin strip. It was like a retro one. Someone did it, and it goes 1, 2, 3, all the way down to episode 9. I've got
Oh, I
that.
thought you were about to say it goes like 1, 2, 3. You know,
There is,
7,
they
8,
they
9.
have they actually have updated it with they've got Mandalorian in there and they've got
Oh, cool.
Rogue One and all that too. But then they get really
Mandalorian.
then each of them seem to get really thin.
Yeah.
It's one of those, you know, it's probably not licensed Lucasfilm material version, but it was like I saw it with 1 through to 9, and I
Yeah.
kind of was like, that's kind of cool. And I got the print, and it was like it's okay as a print. You know, the quality is not that great, but it's like it looked cool, and I was like, okay, yeah.
Speaking of posters, I was just thinking
Yeah.
about. So Levi actually showed me this poster like a while ago, but I noticed you have the Empire Strikes Back poster behind
Correct.
you.
Mhm.
Is it the
Yep.
C poster, Levi?
No, that's the special edition poster.
This is the special edition from
No, the one. No, I'm talking about the one that you showed me. Remember that? Like
oh,
one?
yeah. It's like the
Yeah.
It's the B or C
the
poster.
B or C one. It's so cool. I'll
Right.
throw up a picture like when we edit it or whatever. But it's
Oh, yeah,
super
yeah, yeah.
cool looking. I'll have to show
Yeah,
you.
I do.
Anyways,
If I do
sorry,
this, I'll
thinking
probably
about that.
mess things up. But I do have
The special edition.
Oh,
the
those are
full
cool.
frame
set.
too.
Yeah, they're framed.
Beautiful.
Yeah, yeah.
Beautiful.
Frame
I
game.
I used to work at a
Yeah.
movie
Look at these
theater.
chumps. Look at these chumps down there with their unframed posters.
It's true.
I
You should
okay,
see
I
the
know.
tape
Jeez.
job on the back of this.
Oh,
It's
I won't lie.
Yeah,
I
okay.
managed to get these poster frames for free. I used to work at AMC
Oh,
theaters
cool.
over 20 years ago, and
Oh man.
Amazon accidentally shipped me these.
they had a few extras lying around, and they never quite saw them go missing.
Oh, that's awesome.
Actually, correction, they bought brand new ones, and they said put
Yeah.
the old ones down in the basement, and I was like,
My house, my basement.
They never noticed anything,
Yeah.
but
That's
Something
awesome.
very similar happened
yeah.
to me, honestly. Amazon
Oh, yeah?
accidentally shipped me way more poster frames.
All
than I
those
ordered.
frames he has
Oh, wow.
behind him like came from one order, right?
One order, yeah. It was
that's
like
yeah.
crazy.
I ordered 1 and I got 4, and I was like,
Oh,
Well,
wow, okay.
Your
Yeah, so-
your room, Levi.
Hopefully
Your
that-
your room is
Hopefully
honestly
that.
starting to look a little bit like my room. It's a little scary there. It's like you
Yeah,
just
no.
wall to ceiling,
no,
ceiling,
no,
wall to
no.
ceiling.
If you guys think that my collection, speaking to you, to the audience here, you guys you haven't seen anything. If you think my collection's a lot, wait till you see Brent's collection. Brent.
Yes.
Like,
Brent has bigger
Brent
collection
has-
than I do too.
I
I think-
honestly have only X amount of space, and there's stuff I've got in boxes. The stuff. I mean, I'm originally from Australia, so the stuff that
I
I
couldn't
left
tell.
yeah, go figure. And the stuff that's left with my brothers back in Australia, and they actually have it for their kids and all that sort of stuff now. But of
Oh,
all
that's
the original toys, it's just. But I did bring over a handful of things that I really truly wanted to have and keep over here in LA. So it
See, for
came with
me,
me.
this is like my entire collection. This is everything I own. You know?
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
It's still impressive, dude.
That's
It's
the
like,
thing.
Yeah.
It is.
yeah. I mean, I'm always amazed, Levi. Oh, the amount of books that you have, the amount of reading and knowledge is in your head
He
there.
has basically every.
Yeah, and yeah.
That's where I thrive.
But how far back does a lot of the books go to there, Levi? If you don't mind my asking.
Well, I have every single canon book.
Mhm.
But I have a lot of reprint Legends books.
Right.
Then those are on this
Okay.
shelf there.
Right.
But I like the oldest book I have. Let me take
Yeah.
a second to look.
Right.
I think it would probably be I have the Truce at Bakura, an original copy, which is from 1994.
Okay.
From the beginnings of the Bantam era. It was the first book to come out
Right.
after Heir to the Empire, I believe.
Gotcha. Okay.
Oh no, I have original novelizations for Empire Strikes
Okay.
Back, and I have a paperback copy of Splinter of the Mind's Eye, which was the first Star Wars novel.
Yeah, I had those books when I was a kid. Unfortunately,
I can
most
share.
of those.
I have a New
disappeared,
Hope
yeah.
novelization.
Oh, yeah?
The original one. So.
Oh yeah. The
Yeah.
one with all the there's like 8 images in the middle, 8
Yeah,
pages
and the
of
gold,
glossy.
the gold
Yeah.
cover. Yeah,
Oh, you
yeah.
had the gold. I had the red cover.
Oh,
There
was a red cover?
There was a red cover and there was the gold cover.
Oh,
Yeah,
sick.
yeah.
Okay,
I
have the
think
gold one.
I think there might have been one more, but I can't remember. But I do remember that there.
Ooh, a
I
red
don't
one's
think.
sick.
Yeah, the red one. Well, it wasn't. It wasn't. Yeah, the gold was like reflective, wasn't it? If I remember.
Yeah,
right?
a little bit.
Yeah. The red was just a regular red cover.
I wish I had it with me. I
Um,
don't have it
yeah.
here.
But yeah, no, I meant I had some of those books. I don't. Unfortunately, those books never survived. When my parents moved house years and years ago, some of that stuff didn't survive because I was already living over here, and some of that stuff went out the door. And I
Yeah.
was like, no.
No.
There is some
No.
things. I had an original. This sounds really silly, but it's like I had an original Ewok plush beanbag. And it was shaped like an Ewok. It was like this. It was an Ewok head and Ewok
That's
arms.
amazing.
And
love
I
that.
actually found it at a flea market back in Australia. And I thought nothing of it. And then apparently when they moved or when whatever, it got left in the shed outside and got destroyed from water damage. And I turned out by looking online to what that value price was. And I think it was sitting at about $200. And that was 15, 20 years ago.
I have
So,
Yeah.
Oh
well,
my
Brent.
God.
Brent, you have
Yeah.
no idea. I have so much.
uh-huh.
I used to live on. I don't currently live on the East Coast, but I used to live on the
Right.
East Coast. And on
Right.
the East,
Gotcha.
Traitor.
when you're when in the suburbs of a
Yep.
big city, a
Yep.
lot of people have a lot of stuff, and so there's a lot of like yard sales. So people try to
Right.
get rid of stuff.
Yep.
Right
Yep.
down the street,
Mhm.
People
I
have stuff.
swear to God, we
Yep.
were able to buy the entire Kenner run from 77 to like 86, like the
That's
entire
impressive.
thing. And it's
Yeah.
like 2012. Like I'm talking the
Wow.
Job of the Hut on the
Yeah,
on
yeah.
the thing,
Yep.
all the figures.
I've got all that. Yeah.
In
yeah.
box?
the
Or no?
Vader, not in box. No, some of it in
Yeah.
box,
Okay.
like the
Right.
Vader like carrying case, the C-3PO
Mhm.
carrying
Yeah.
case. Like I'm
Yep.
sure you're
yeah,
familiar.
yeah.
All
Yep.
that stuff was just there.
Yep.
All of that got lost when I moved, and I was like,
Oh.
You never
Oh.
told me that. That's
I was like,
insane.
all that
Wow.
stuff. Well, I
That's
was
crazy,
too.
yeah.
I didn't process like.
It's a repressed memory because you're upset about it.
It is. I mean, at the
Oh,
time,
God,
because
yeah.
I was playing with them when I was like
Yeah.
8, but when we moved when I was 15, I
Oh,
was
yeah.
like,
hurts
that was
my
like
soul.
my low point of Star Wars, and I was like, what are these old figures? Like, I don't care.
Yeah.
So many
Well,
figures that were just got lost, and that kills me.
Yeah.
Oh,
That's
I wish I could
crazy.
tell myself when I was younger to just keep a bunch of stuff because you're gonna want to go.
this was from when I was young, so I
That's
think
funny.
I have.
Boy,
a
right?
lot
Yeah,
of- most of
that's
my
on
stuff.
you. I do have a little kind of show and tell if you guys are interested.
Yes, please.
Yeah.
Yes,
So,
please.
all right, and this does relate to all the Kenner figures. So, it was 1985. I was about 15 at the time, and all of the Kenner toys were just coming off the shelf. That was it. When old stocks are done, they take them off the shelf, they ship them back to where they came from. Their run has done, basically. And of course, that was in Australia. We were lucky to get the Power of the Force line with the collector coin.
They get decommissioned.
And they, yeah,
I had a
now
couple
here's.
of those. Yeah.
Yeah, now here's the thing with those original Power of the Force. I'm not talking about Power of the Force 2, I'm talking about the original Kenner Power of the Force 1 figures.
Yeah.
So, when
Oh.
these figures were coming off the shelf, we started getting this printout material from the comic shops and all this sort of stuff saying, from America saying, these are the valuable figures. Why were they valuable in America? Because America never got them. These toys only mostly came to Australia and New Zealand. And
Wow.
something that there was just like, oh my God. So I had a good friend of mine and myself, we were Star Wars fans, and we were searching all the stores. We couldn't find anything. And one day I was lucky enough to find this guy here,
Oh, look
which
at that.
is an original
Hey.
Imperial dignitary. Sorry, I'm
You,
just trying to
it's
flip off.
it's not. It might be Tashu. No, I
Huh?
think that's his
That's-
name.
He was just named Imperial Dignitary at the time.
Imperial
Dignitary.
Dignitary.
But here's the thing.
That's a cool card.
Yeah, so this is the original one, but check out the price that they were actually going for. Like they put it down to 99 cents.
Oh,
So
Wow.
this
Oh.
figure, I haven't checked out recently what the price is on this guy, but this is one of the ones with the Power of the Force coin. The box is yellowed, so it actually is silver in there. It looks gold, but it's
Oh,
actually
wow.
a silver.
Oh,
And then of course the back is
yeah.
the
Dude, look how
That's
many
cool.
figures they
I
made
know.
back then. That drives
This-
me
yeah,
insane that we don't have that today.
I think
Oh
it's
my God.
92,
Yeah.
92 figures and
Oh my
and
God.
There's the
the
coin.
special power of the coin.
Yeah.
So
What a
I-
weird figure
this-
to make.
Yeah, well,
It's
I know.
cool,
It's-
though.
you never got
I want 'em all.
you never got power. You never got Tarkin. They never released a Tarkin figure, but they released an Imperial Dignitary.
They
Go
gave you a
figure.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Is it?
yeah.
Someone in the comments help me out. I want to
Yeah.
say his name is Tashu. All the Imperial dignitary names are floating.
Yeah,
around.
there's about
You
four
got,
or five
you got
of them.
Sim.
yeah.
You got Sim Alu.
Yeah.
Tashu. I
Yeah.
want to say.
But
Be Sim
I don't
Alu.
know either.
so
no one's gonna
there's
be able to help you with that one, man.
Yeah,
No, I
I'm
think
just
so-
saying.
there must
No.
be someone out there. for
Well,
sure.
before we go further, I realize we
Yeah,
have
yeah.
to give Brent a proper introduction. This
Oh,
I feel like we
did.
didn't really do. Well, this guy
Well, we
right
didn't-
here, he is a loyal listener of many.
Yes. Oh, yeah.
podcasts out there.
I think
He's a
Dylan
member of the
mentioned
Nerd Herd.
just
You-
recently.
You may know him. You may know him from the Kessel Run transmission community, where he has appeared and
Yeah.
shown off his wonderful collection. But he himself has his own channel now, where he is going through. To my understanding, going like your basis is in.
I'm
Going through your
just
collection pretty
starting.
much, right?
Yeah, I'm trying
Yeah.
to just show. Basically, here's the thing. It's like you go through life, you have stuff like this, and you sit it in hiding, and you sit down and you go, and you kind of say, this stuff is worth showing to people, and people are getting more comfortable with doing this. One of the big things that did happen in Australia back in the 80s, a few times this happened, people decided to go to the newspapers, it was newspapers back then, and show off their collections in the newspapers. But what was happening was people realized how valuable these toys were getting, and people had their houses broken into and their collections stolen.
Jeez.
Yep.
So you
Yeah.
kind of got very defensive and protective of what you had, and in wanting to show people. It's kind of a different environment now, a different society of people, and it's a lot more accepting. But the
Yeah.
reality was you did have a lot of break-ins within Australia that were advertised as this person had their whole collection stolen. Don't advertise your collection. So for years and years, it was like don't show anybody. You have your few personal friends that you can show and this sort of stuff. And so it became very inclusive. And now it's like this different thought process of like people want to see what people have got, people are fascinated, people are interested. And I sat there and I thought, no, this is right towards the end of the pandemic here, and I'm sitting there going, man, I really should do this sort of stuff one day. And then I started watching Kesseron transmissions for the first time, right in the middle of when Mandalorian season 2 was out, because I actually was like, I was invested in who else is interested in talking about Ahsoka Tano and Bo-Katan
Yeah.
coming
yeah,
from
right.
the animated stuff into live action. I was thrilled and I was excited, and then I just was like, I never really explored YouTube before this in my life. And I started to look online. I was like, okay, this is kind of cool. There's a few people here. I think I started watching Star Wars Theory first, and then watched all these other channels. And I was sitting there and was like, you find the vibe of what you enjoy watching, and from people you enjoy watching it from. And there were things that I, wasn't as particular about certain people, and I was like, yeah, they've got some great stuff, but I don't like the way they're necessarily talking about stuff or really getting into things. And then something was like Kesseron transmissions, they were a lot of fun and kept it light and all that.
They are
I was
great.
like,
They
okay.
are great.
So I started connecting, and that's where I kind of came across Levi and Johnny as well. And it's like we were talking in chat once in a while,
yeah.
and all that.
It's awesome.
But it did go through from there. And then at
Back in
that
the
point in
moderator
time,
days.
I think it was
Yeah, Levi
back,
was
yeah,
the,
yeah, yeah,
back when
yeah,
Levi was the moderator.
yeah,
back
the
when he got-
moderator,
before he
yeah.
got fired.
yeah. But the reality is I came out of that, especially after the last episode of the season of Mandalorian. I was like, man, I really should truly start to document some of my stuff, because
Yeah.
you suddenly sit there and it's like everybody has a story, everybody has a perspective, everyone has a point of view about how something affects their lives. It doesn't mean it's going to resonate with everybody, but we all have a story to tell. We all have something to pass on and teach others and learn things. And people who are interested in Star Wars, or whether it's dance, or whether it's music or theater or this or that, everybody has this ability of being able to pass on a little bit of knowledge about an experience of what they understood through their lives. And I think it's great that someone like myself, who was there when Star Wars Day One came out, and you guys who
We're gonna get to that, but
you guys are okay, yeah, but yeah, we will get to that for sure.
Okay.
But it's cool that kind of generation gap is now a much more open gap, because there is information I learned from the younger generation, and I'm sure there's information you learned from someone like Star Wars Santa and myself, hopefully,
Definitely.
that kind of inspires you and go, oh wow, that's kind of cool, I didn't know that, a piece of knowledge or something like that. So, but yeah,
I mean, I said the same thing to Santa.
yeah.
Definitely, just your existence inspires me. You know,
Yeah.
like being so.
Yeah.
Like,
That makes me
showing-
feel old.
Well,
Yeah,
well,
Levi.
I didn't want, but just the fact that
Yeah.
you can still hold this positive love for this thing for so long.
Right.
And
Oh,
it
yeah,
doesn't.
absolutely.
It doesn't have to fade with time.
Yeah, it doesn't. It doesn't, and it still can inspire you. And if you go through life and you lose your inspiration, then what's the kind of point with that? It's like it's you may as well accept it, take it in, and connect with other people that have that same kind of vibe and love for something so much that you dearly love yourself. So
Yeah.
Listen,
Yeah.
I've invested far too much into Star Wars to just one day be like, you know what, I'm done with it.
yeah,
Yeah,
I
yeah,
think I'm
same.
gonna
that's
be
it.
in your
Yeah.
shoes when
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, you still go about
all
your
say
daily
that too.
life, you still do
Yeah.
your work, you still do what everything else that you normally do, but there's this special place in your heart for, say, again, something like Star Wars. It doesn't have to be
Yeah.
Star Wars, it could be something completely different.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter. You're always going to have something in your heart that you're always going to go home to, sit down and enjoy as a personal connection with something that is not the everyday strain and stress of life and stuff like that. And for me,
Yeah.
it's Star Wars.
Yeah,
Yeah.
far too many 3 a.m. school night talks about the hypocrisy of the Jedi and the prequels, and my homework is not done.
I
to
don't know how
just-
you guys
to
do
just
it these
not-
days. I seriously
Yeah.
don't.
I don't
Like
either.
it's crazy. I mean,
I don't
you guys are, you're online a huge percent of your time, and then I keep forgetting you study and you go to school and and you do this and it's that, and it's
Yep.
like I'd be no.
Levi's in the
yeah.
midst of finals, right? Or-
I
am.
yeah
Yeah.
that's
It's
crazy,
tough
dude.
right now. It's been a rough
Yeah.
week.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But it's going well. It's going well. It's going well.
That's
So,
good.
Yeah.
That's good.
So
But yeah.
Brent,
Yeah.
we've kind of we beat around the bush a little bit and we gave you the intro, but I just want to
Yep.
like, what exactly is your channel all about? Like, what are you doing on your channel right now, and like, why should people go check you out?
Yeah.
All right. So, I mean, basically, what I've started doing is I've started to kind of, as I said, I'm experimenting with how do I make something hopefully that will be eventually interesting. And that is, I do want to take some of the miniature. I as a kid, I love building miniature models of around my action figures, and
Yes.
it's just something I stuck with all my life. So a big part of what I am going to be developing into is taking some of the more recent 12-inch figures from both the Hasbro and the Hot Toys lines, and just creating some displays around each of these settings. And I've only got so much room in my space in my room, so I'm picking and choosing, and I'm going to spend some time going through from scratch, building some of these miniature models, some of the settings mostly that I want to choose to put around some of these characters. Right now my beginning videos have been about cleaning up my room, getting things kind of prepped.
Which have been
How am I
great, and
gonna
you guys
alter
should check
things?
out, by the way.
They're a little slow. I'm still finding my way.
No, but that's good.
But,
they're very
yeah.
relaxing. We were saying it before the show.
Very
Yeah, they're great.
But
We love 'em. We love 'em.
but at the same time, I am going to be jumping in pretty soon into full-on miniature building models and stuff like that, and videotape it and talk about what type of materials I'm using, and I know, you know, there's hundreds of people that do it already, but it's like, this is just my perspective and my point of view on how I manage to do things. I'm trying to keep things on the relatively cheap side of things because it can get costly when you have to build this stuff. So I'm going to be taking little trips down to like the 99-cent store and saying, well, this is kind of cool for this, and this might be cool for this. How can I modify this, etc., etc. But then I also jump into a few things. I'm going to jump into some 3D printing stuff because I've just recently been teaching myself how to 3D print. And how to design on the 3D printer. So hopefully I'll be able to do some of that in the future and get some of that out there as well. So
That's
yeah.
awesome. Yeah, it's
love it.
definitely a nice change of pace from the what's
Right,
going on,
yeah.
everyone. Make sure to subscribe, like, buy my merch.
No,
go out,
everybody's got their
stuff.
thing, and that's the thing.
Yeah.
I'm loving it. I love it when you guys come on.
We
and
gotta
you-
clip that.
Yeah,
We
yeah.
gotta clip that.
We'll put that in
Anyways,
the
go
beginning
ahead,
of each
Brent.
episode.
You know,
Go ahead, Brent. Sorry.
I do love it though when you know you guys are on and you're talking about comic books or novels, and I don't follow the comics, I don't follow the novels, and I don't follow the computer games. I'm just not a big reader, never have been, but I'm always fascinated to go, well, what's the background of this? And then now I know I can ask a question and go, hey, Levi, what's the deal with this? And Levi's like, well,
I'll tell
he
you.
and he'll tell me straight out all the details, and I'm like, that's really cool. Wow, that's actually really awesome. And so there's that, but then you know, it's always that kind of like, it's always about acquiring more knowledge on something that you're already having fun listening to, that you're watching, that you're reading, and just acquiring more. There are people out there who have never obviously watched the animated shows, and I love the animated shows, I love the live action shows, and I
We
love
all
the
do,
feature films.
yeah.
And we all do. But there are other people that do not necessarily watch, say, the animated shows. And I find the depth that both George Lucas and Dave Filoni brought to the Clone Wars incredible. There is so much depth and so much richness, and it makes me appreciate the prequel trilogy a whole lot more
Oh, yeah.
because of the depth of detail that they go into. I've often always said this, and it's like, if you take Star Wars, Empire Strikes Back, and Return of the Jedi, and if you break them right down to the very basics, all they are is a bunch of TV episodes waiting to go on TV from week to week. Star Wars: A New Hope starts off, your first sequence is on, you know, Tatooine in the desert. The second one is in the space
I've never
station,
heard
and
that
the third part you're in the space battle. But if you
Yeah.
break them down, you've got a 45-minute scene, you've got a 35-minute scene, you've got a 25-minute scene. And it almost goes back to what George Lucas always created with what he was inspired by, which was the old TV serials from Flash Gordon and all those
Buck
shows.
Rogers, Flash
Buck
Gordon.
Rogers, yeah, exactly. And when you look at it that way, each movie really is broken down into TV elements. Empire Strikes Back's the same way. The first sequence is all on the ice planet. The second
Right.
part's the space battle
Return of the Jedi
slash
is the biggest example.
and Jedi, yeah.
Yeah.
And even the prequels to a certain degree have broken down into those sections. You end up in three different environments in each of those movies. And you could very easily snap those down the middle and say, this is to be continued into next week's episode. So my opinion has always been that Star Wars was always meant to be a TV show over being feature film told. And people who are trying to fill a whole story out with jumping back and forth, to a certain degree, it comes across to me as being they're trying to tell it breaks up the setting that George Lucas did, which was keep them very distinctly three segmented areas, and it changes the format a little bit. It's nothing bad about it, but it does change my perspective on why people don't look back to what George Lucas did do and try to segment some of their movies in the same way that he did with those films. I think it's just my
Yeah.
point of view from that. So, but
No, that's really
but-
interesting. I've never
Finally,
heard
after
that
40 years, you're like,
thing
the
before.
TV shows are here.
Yeah.
That's it. That's it. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
I mean, it's fair. Like we see
Yeah.
all the awesome reception, like the Mandalorian, Clone Wars, and it's like
Yeah.
you get so much time, and we're seeing
Right.
Marvel too to develop the characters, and like
Yeah.
you're allowed to slow down with certain
Right.
episodes, whereas in
Correct.
movies, a
Yeah.
lot of time it's like you got to get to the point because you got
Yeah.
at
Mandalorian.
max 2 hours to
Yes.
get that done.
Exactly. Yeah.
Mandalorian season
Yeah.
1 and 2 has more screen time than any of the trilogies.
Oh yeah. No,
Yeah.
it's
Yeah.
great. Yeah. No, it's cool.
Right.
It's a crazy thing to think
And it
about.
feels
Is
so it feels
true.
so less spectacle, you know, but there's
Right.
there's a more probably to, I think
Yeah.
anyways, to delve into.
Right. Yeah. So
Definitely.
I've got a continuation to the story that I was talking about earlier,
Mhm.
Of
and
course, go ahead.
with the action figure stuff. So going back to the action figure element, when the last of the toy line of the Power of the Force was coming out, literally that figure of the Imperial Dignitary was the only figure I could find on the shelves. And that was it. The figure line was off the shelf. Now, we have this thing in Western Australia every year called what's called the Royal Show. It's a series of little carnivals and events, and they make these show bags up, and these show bags sell for like $7 or $8, and they do different things like Spider-Man show bag or superhero show bag or
Oh,
whatever.
that's cool.
In 1986, well into the element of us, understanding how valuable some of these Kenner toys were beginning to be, they actually released in Australia show bags from all the toys of the leftover figures from Hong Kong. And I'm talking about all of them. And I'm talking about all of them from all different time periods, from 1978, from the original Star Wars: A New Hope, all the way through to the Power of the Force line. They were selling these figures. It was 5 figures for $7. Yeah.
Oh my god.
All original Kenner. All original Kenner. Now, this is where most
Oh,
people don't understand
So
this.
jealous.
Most of those toys are the ones that you see distributed around the country now. Now, the annoying thing was I only had about $60 to my name at the time. My parents wouldn't give me, I was only 16 years old at the time. My parents wouldn't give me any money as much as I begged and pleaded. It was like, oh, please, you don't understand. These figures are, and already then those figures were going up in value. It was incredible.
Yeah.
So I was actually lucky enough to, and my friend were lucky enough to get to this Royal Show. People were buying up bags of like $200, of baggage of just
Yeah.
Star Wars action figures, and they came in these plastic, toy bags like this.
Ooh,
kind
Oh,
of
those
thing.
are sick bags
That's
in
cool.
Yeah.
itself. That's awesome.
So they were just they were show bags. They put in 5 figures a bag,
love that.
and some of the other figures. I'll show you just a few highlights here. I was able to get. This is the original Han Solo in carbonite with the collector coin.
Nice.
He looks gold.
Well,
Yeah,
the yellowing is the yellowing.
the yellowing, unfortunately,
Yeah.
over
No,
the
I know.
years.
Yeah.
And
That's awesome, man.
that was one of them. I do happen to have the Lando. Find the reflection level. Lando
Nice.
General. Again, collector
Oh,
coin. That
God.
sort
That's
of
a cool
stuff.
fig to have.
Which
Yeah.
is a cool one. Yeah, just another one here quickly. And this was the Leia
Nice.
in
In the Leia?
Endor.
Yeah.
I have the new one.
The new,
Right there.
yeah, no,
Yeah.
it's kind of funny looking at the new ones, and these guys, they don't have wrong finger. They don't have any of the support framing or anything like that. They're just literally loose in the box there, just
Yeah.
floating around and
Yeah.
all that. But then one of the ones I was lucky enough to get, which really surprised me, is a rare defect.
Ooh.
And if you have a look, this is Nyctogard, but if you have
Yeah.
a look,
Oh.
it's the Romba the Ewok
That's
figure.
not it. Yeah.
Coin.
Yeah, the coin. And I have been searching online. I
Oh.
know that at one point I saw them for like $5,000 or something crazy. And this was
Wow.
10 years ago. So I've never
Oh my
actually
God.
been able to get. I should probably get these valued sometime. And again, they probably lost value because of the yellowing. Now, there's something else I want to point out
Oh, and
as well.
it's not the card isn't punched either.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
where I was about to go.
Oh,
Now, all of
shoot.
these
That's right.
coins, all of these toys that came in the collector boxes never had the card punched ever. So if you
Perfect.
actually see any of these toys in any of the stores over here in the States, they came from Australia from 1986 when Hong Kong sent all of their toys down there to be sold out. Those toys only a handful of them existed and went over to the Sydney Royal Show a year later, and then they were gone. They had finished. They never came back to Western Australia again. So what we were lucky to get the very first batch of all those remaining figures. These figures
Wow.
also went right through to the Droids figures as well.
Show, yeah, which is coming on Disney
Nice.
Plus.
Which is
Yeah,
coming,
wait,
yeah.
When
Is there a-
when is it?
When is
Next
that?
week,
I know
I
it's
think.
coming.
Oh, is
it's
it?
next week?
I think it's
See,
like a couple weeks. Yeah.
Yeah, but
I
you
have
know,
to do something for that.
these guys came with. Oops, sorry, I'm trying to line up here. But these guys came with their own. This
Yeah.
is the only Droids figure I was lucky enough to get.
Oh man.
But
Yeah, those
I love that. I
strips.
love that Dengar repaint. On
Yeah.
yeah. So this,
Oh my
it's
God,
just,
I
yeah.
love
This, it's. Oops, sorry, I did it again. But
That's
I've
But
never
yeah,
watched any droids. Like I gotta. I know.
You know,
I mean, I know it's gonna be.
they
silly
were
thing,
not
but-
they like the Ewoks. They were not that great. They were
Yeah.
kind
Yeah,
of whatever. But
I would
again,
guess.
it was the only animation in the '80s that came out, and it was one
Right.
of those
I think the
things that-
holiday special animation is the best.
Oh yeah,
the
yeah,
era.
yeah.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah,
it's
with
so
the
it's so
mythical and-
corny. Hang on a second. I think I've got that
Yeah.
box there somewhere too. I have to stretch across. I'll get that later. But
Yeah.
so yeah. If you've seen those figures again, all of them. The cards are not punched out at the top here because they came directly from Hong Kong, and they went to
Interesting.
Australia, and then from Australia they distributed around the world when people obviously knew what they were getting, and being able to resell them for X amount of dollars. But I've
So
kept them in my
awesome.
collection. I ended up with about
Well, that's
40
good. Just keeping them
Yeah.
is good. Keeping them
That's
is
it.
good.
Well, I've got about 40 something different figures overall, and the other ones range from Jedi to Empire Strikes Back. I've got one Star Wars: A New Hope figure there too, but all of them came from this royal show. And again, it's just
Wow.
it's not a story that most people would actually know, and know
sucks
where
about the
where
yellowing.
to distribute. It
I
does
know.
suck.
Yeah, what are you
Yeah,
gonna do there?
There's
yeah,
like I forget. There must be. I know there's a way to like kind of
there is. I haven't
help that,
tested
but
it.
like what
Yeah.
is it?
It-
Do you know,
it's
like, how
it,
to-
yeah. There's a mixture spray you can now get.
Right, you just
I've
spray them,
seen,
right?
Yeah.
that's what I thought.
I'd be
but
nervous. I'd be nervous to use it.
I'd be nervous, but I mean, here's the thing though. Depending on what generation, this is one of my original ones. This
Oh,
is
look at that.
a Toy
Oh,
Toys
man.
one in a very
Totally
different
fine.
style, but it's completely fine. And this is all the way back
That's so
from
cool.
this is the second series that came out, I think, or might be the
Yeah,
third
yeah.
from the
Yeah.
original. So I think
Oh, there's the
this is-
Greedo. Yep, I see the
Yeah.
Greedo there. That's awesome.
But then it has all the play sets
So
and
as
everything.
Oh
a
my
fellow
God.
action figure collector, and
Uh-huh,
I know
yeah.
Johnny is as well.
Yep.
The yellowing only really occurs due to sun exposure, right? It's the certain kinds of
No,
light.
it's not. No, these
I
figures
thought-
have been completely kept away in storage in darkness
Well,
for
then what causes
for
that?
years.
That's crazy.
Is it
it's sorry.
moisture? Is it moisture? I
It's-
don't know.
It's not moisture. It is it's like some action figures. You'll get the figure, and then the middle piece of the figure
Well, yellow.
goes yellow,
Oh,
and yet
yeah,
the
yeah.
arms might be right. It has got something to do with the plastic that is used in the molding facilities, and that includes and goes to specifically the boxes that they mold for the casings and stuff like that.
So
too.
it just yellows over time automatically.
It just
then.
yellows over time automatically, whether it's air or
That
whatever.
sucks. I thought it was
and-
sun
Bad.
too.
Yeah, no, the sun damage is something. It's definitely not, because, as I said, these guys have been locked away for literally about 25 years. I kept them locked in a suitcase back in my parents' house, and when I eventually moved, everything over here, and it was only like about 5 years ago, I bought all this stuff over from.
I hope
from
my
Australia.
Phantom Menace figures don't yellow. I love those things.
Yeah, it depends on the.
Well,
on
those
the
are from the
product
70s
and
and
the
80s, so
timing.
I think.
Yeah, true. But I mean,
Yeah,
that
yeah,
would-
yeah.
I don't know if they like changed the.
I've
plastic
seen
or
yellow
anything like
Phantom
that.
Menace carded figures.
That's true.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The weird thing is when you get two of the same figure and one's yellow and one's completely fine. Again, it goes back to the type of plastic that actually can be
Bizarre.
molded and the time.
They, yeah,
Right.
right.
Well, yeah,
all
'cause
that.
they're
Yeah,
not
yeah.
thinking, especially back then. They're just like, I don't know.
Oh
just
yeah, no,
get
totally.
them out
Yeah,
there.
it's
The
Like,
something that's going to
longevity or
get
whatever,
ripped
yeah.
apart, thrown away,
Yeah.
and the figure will be kept. And
It's
Right,
good that
yeah,
you're old
yeah.
enough and I guess smart enough not to. Like,
Oh.
one, to
Well,
not
again,
punch it. And
I
two,
was yeah. Well, I mean, again, I was 15 when I was still getting the figures off the shelf. It wasn't until late 2015 when, as I said, when a toy line ends its run, they don't just try to sell this. Well, they do try to sell these things out. They try to drop the price on them. Anything left on the shelves just gets boxed up and sent back to whatever company. It doesn't matter which company it is. It doesn't
Rogue
matter
One
if
Black
it's Mattel. Yeah, yeah, and of course, then they get them and they do a repaint job on them and make them into
Yeah.
something that they're not.
Give them
Yep.
the Five Below. Jin
Yeah.
Urso,
Yeah,
Five
yeah,
Below.
yeah,
Generation,
yeah.
yeah.
But
I'll take a
I
Jin
think
Urso for
I think they're
$5.
doing a whole wave.
Dude,
I think
that
there's been a
is a
rumor that they're doing a
horrible
whole
face.
wave
Oh, yeah?
with the new face printing tech, all of the Rogue One figures.
That's cool. They deserve
Oh,
it
really?
because Jin
Okay.
Urso is like
Yeah.
it's kind of laughable how bad that.
The
looks.
casting
Yeah.
is not great either. Yeah.
The Poe Dameron Force
The
Awakens.
Poe Dameron is a
easily the
tragedy.
worst.
The Rose needs it.
Yeah.
I mean, they won't do it, but the Rose could.
The
look
Rose
a
is
lot
good. I
better,
like
too.
the Rose.
Well, I mean-
thought
Well,
the face looked
that was like
ridiculous.
right before they started doing the.
Here we are.
face
We're deep
printing
into
type of thing.
face printing
Anyways,
talk now.
Yeah.
Are you into Black Series? I don't even know this, Brent. Are you?
So I
Cut it
I
out.
know you do
remember?
Hot Toys and stuff.
All right. So the Black Series, the helmets, I've been collecting. I haven't got all of them, but I've got like
Did
a
you get
handful
this
of them.
yet?
No, not yet.
Ah.
That's gonna be that's one of those things. It's like that would be a spontaneous buy. If I walk in a
Yeah.
store and it's sitting there, it's there because I'm gonna
Right.
be buying it. And
It's
the
destiny.
the
It's your
only
destiny.
Black Series toy outside of a couple of Rebels figures, which I recently got because this is before we realized that Rebels is now moving to live action characters at least. I did get some of the 6-inch figures of that, but
Great
the
line.
only one I got was
Solid.
I went to San Diego Comic Con several years ago and saw the TIE Fighter for
Yeah. Force
episode
Awakens.
7, yeah, Force Awakens, and I saw it and I was like,
my
oh,
God.
that's kind
I
of
just
cool.
got confused. That was
It's
like
so-
that was. What do you say? 5 years ago? 7 years ago? What did you
Yeah,
say?
something like that.
Oh
It was
my
6.
God.
Yeah.
I-
6 years
Six,
ago.
yes,
Six?
yeah,
That's just
yeah.
crazy to think about.
Right.
That it was 6
Yeah,
years
no,
ago.
it is. Yeah, but
Yeah, that TIE Fighter was crazy. Anyways,
I
yeah.
did see it, and I was like, "That's so cool." I'm not going to spend any money getting that.
Right.
And I
Yeah.
thought, no, it's cool. It's visually beautiful.
If they
That's
made,
so.
if they made
It's such a large.
OT one,
But
that
here's the
would
thing.
be tempting.
The moment I walked into a Target store and there was only one of them on the shelf, it was $160. And I was like,
Yeah, it was expensive.
ah, crap! I'm gonna have to get this right now, aren't I?
Yeah.
And so that is actually the first, and with the exception of the Rebels, the only Black Series of the
Really?
figures that I
Okay,
got,
wow.
because it came with a figure as well of the
Yeah.
TIE
Yeah, the
Fighter
Special
pilot.
Forces.
Yeah,
I wish they
yeah.
single
Yeah.
as a
Yeah.
Black Series collector.
Yeah.
I wish
yep.
they single carded that Special Forces TIE pilot because I love
Yeah,
that.
Yeah.
that would have been
Yeah.
awesome.
Yeah, it's a cool
That's a
detail.
cool
one.
figure.
I do enjoy the detail of their earlier stuff, but yeah, you're right. Their latest stuff, it feels more rushed. They're trying to push out a whole lot more, and there's some things in there that are, you know,
I don't know, I'm
There's
loving
some-
this.
there's some-
this
Okay.
new stuff.
Really
right
good
here.
ones
I,
on
okay.
the mix.
all right.
I'm loving it. Yeah,
Okay.
it's,
Yeah.
the detail is.
McDonald's
I'll be honest.
sponsor us.
I haven't stopped to really take a really good look.
Yeah. There's
you know-
stuff with the clones, for example, that
Yeah.
like are a little.
Yeah, I think
But-
from
Yeah,
Black
yeah.
Series like,
Like-
number 80 to 95, they
Right.
sort of were
Mm.
doing.
Is that where they're at now with the amount of types of figures?
Oh, there's
I don't even know what the number is now because they took
Yeah,
out
what's-
450
boxes.
figures, I think.
Already?
450.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
Off the top of my
Yeah.
head.
That's crazy.
But
Yeah.
but the new
think
the
so.
new runs because
Yeah.
like the most in the end of the red box run, they
Yeah,
had
yeah.
like
Mhm.
the Dooku, which is like one of
Right.
the best figures I've ever seen.
Yeah,
like,
the
Yeah.
Attack of the Clones
Dooku,
Yeah,
wave.
yeah.
Attack of the
Yeah.
Clones Dooku is like one of the craziest face prints I've
Yeah.
ever seen.
Right.
And
Anakin,
then
Obi-Wan.
now they started the
Mm.
colorful new wave, and like the Bo-Katan is
color
amazing.
coded.
color
Right.
coded,
by-
the color
Oh,
coded,
really? Okay.
and
Yeah.
the Endor figures, which are at the bottom, the green ones here.
Yeah. Yeah.
Coated green for Return of the Jedi,
Right.
and the
Re-
Boba, all
repacks
great.
of the pack,
So far,
yeah.
I mean, I know people have their problems with Hasbro, but the figure
Right,
quality
yeah.
has been pretty good.
Yeah,
Recently,
they're-
anyway.
all the
Recently.
ones that I have are pretty solid. At least I
Yeah.
think. I don't have very high
Right.
standards, but there definitely are some
Yeah.
you see and you're like, come on.
The
Like,
cat, the
Yeah.
Cad
Oh, yeah.
Bane is like absolute perfection.
Cad
I-
Bane, yeah.
will
Yeah,
say.
I did at one time that and the Ahsoka Tano I didn't pick up because when at that moment I was like, wait a minute, this stuff is kind of on that emergence that we might end up by getting them as live action. So if that does happen,
Mm.
and they did with Ahsoka, and I'm
Still waiting on.
I'm
some
hoping on
Season
Cad
2
Bane.
figures.
Yeah.
I am
everyone's-
so
yeah.
hoping on Cad
Yeah.
Bane.
Oh,
but
for
if-
book-
if
you
si-
mean like for
if-
Book
if
of
Hot
Boba
To-
Fett or
oh,
something?
when Hot Toys bring out a Cad
Oh.
Bane, that's it.
One of
That's
my-
what
They
I'm
actually
going
did make.
for. That's
Sideshow
what
did
I'm
make
going
one
for.
though. Sideshow
They
did make one. It's
did,
not like
but
it's the
yeah.
clone disguise one, but yeah.
and that was the thing
Hey,
about
that's Denal to you, okay? He's disguised as Denal. That's the clone's
Denal.
name.
Yeah.
He has a name. His name's Denal.
Okay.
The
Alright.
the actual, but the detail on the I do have a couple of the earlier figures.
I was a big
I,
Denal fan as a kid.
I could see that.
He was barely in that episode.
He
But
died.
He's
I
died.
know he did.
Yeah. But the actual the earlier Hot Toys Sideshow toys that did come out, I actually did start collecting a few of them. And strange enough, I picked up the 3 Rebel Endor figures that they released, the 12-inch scale figures,
Yep.
including the one that looks like the Rex
Rex
of
one,
the
yeah,
generation, which
That's
is kind of
awesome.
weird because now I can't remember his name. I've got it in the
Nick
other room.
Sant.
But yeah, that's it. And I sit there and
Ah.
I'm like, oh
Thanks,
man, I
Levi.
can't look at it as the other character. It's definitely Rex to me now,
Yeah,
even
the
though it's
Yeah.
implied.
So the guy with the beard,
Yeah.
originally in the EU, his name was Nick Sant because he looked
Nick
like
Sant,
Santa
yeah.
Claus.
Yes,
So
they
yeah,
said
yeah, yeah.
Saint-
Nick
Saint
Sant.
Nick,
Yeah,
so it's
yeah,
just
yeah.
Nick
That's
Sant.
that's very
Yeah,
on
yeah.
the nose, but
Yeah,
Yeah,
it's
yeah,
not
yeah,
Rex.
Nick-
exactly. Yeah.
It's Nick Sant, and
Which
then
is
and then later Dave
Yeah.
Filoni was like, that character could be Rex if you want.
Yeah.
Yeah,
He's-
that which
Wars-
is great.
Star Wars
I
Santa
was
should do a
it was
cosplay of
fine.
that.
Yeah.
I mean, we know he was on Endor at least.
Yeah.
We do.
But
Yeah.
in my head canon, it's not Rex. There's just
That's-
something
Oh
about Rex.
really?
No,
oh no!
that-
In my head canon, it is Rex.
In my
No,
head
it's
canon,
Rex.
it
In
is
my head, it's
absolutely.
I don't
absolutely.
need that being a Rex.
I love that. I love
Oh
that
no!
aspect.
I'm
me, it's-
fine. He was background, but it's like, you know what? He was
Yeah.
doing his own thing. He was probably off
Yeah,
scouting
Nick
at
Sant,
time.
man.
Yeah,
I would like to see.
wasn't-
I would like to see
Yeah.
like what he was doing on Endor one day. Hopefully they.
Ah, no,
Well,
that'd be
no,
we
cool.
see
cool.
we see a little bit in I believe it's a Galaxy of Adventure short, or maybe it's a
Oh.
Yes, yeah.
there's just like one shot where you see
On
him on Endor.
Endor?
Oh yeah.
On Endor,
yeah.
and he has the
Oh.
gauntlets. He has the,
And he looks
the
just
blue and white
like-
gauntlets.
Yeah, I know the
Right,
look.
right,
yeah,
right,
yeah.
Yeah,
right.
it's so cool.
Hmm.
But then in the
Yeah,
movie, in Return of the Jedi, that character,
Yeah.
Nick, like the character, the person who's playing him, Rex or
Yeah.
Nick Sant or whatever,
Mhm.
you see them in the background when they're first arrive on Endor. Then you see
Yeah.
them when they turn the scout, Imperial, biker scout turns the
Yeah.
corner and he's like there.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
then it's the same guy who gets in the uniform and
Yeah.
pretend it's a super background like plot line. But
Yeah,
when
yeah.
they knock the guy out, they knock one of the
Yep.
one of the scouts out, and they like put
Right.
on the Nick Sant guy puts on the uniform, and he's like at the front of the back door pretending to
Right.
be an Imperial trooper. And then
Oh
later
my
on,
God.
you can see
That's such a
that
Rex thing.
you can see that they get arrested.
Now, is this in one of
Yeah.
the comics or one of the novelizations?
This is
No,
the
this is
movie.
the movie.
This
Oh,
is in the movie.
you're talking about in the
Yeah, yeah.
movie. Oh,
Yeah,
I'm
in the
sorry.
movie.
sorry.
Yeah.
Oh, I thought you meant there's another background that was.
Oh no
going
no
on.
no!
Okay,
I'm saying,
all right.
I'm saying
in
this,
the movie.
This,
Oh yeah,
I'm
yeah,
saying
yeah,
this is
yeah,
all
yeah,
going
yeah,
around
yeah.
in the background
Yeah,
of the movie.
yeah,
That's
yeah,
only
yeah,
something
I
you
didn't know
really
he
gotta notice.
disguised as a scout trooper. That's
Yeah.
interesting.
It's
I
only
didn't
something
realize
you
that.
knew the other
It's
stuff,
only
but-
something you notice if you really watch the movie like a
Oh
lot.
come
Alright,
on!
I'm gonna have
Oh
to-
my
Yeah,
god!
yeah.
Okay,
Watch
all
it again. Yeah, watch
That's-
it again.
I'm gonna have to watch that. Wow.
Yeah.
When they're going
I will.
when they're
Yeah,
going
yeah, yeah.
into the base, like when
Yeah.
Han is going into
Yeah,
the
yeah,
yeah.
base, in the background, there's
Right.
a rebel. It's
Right.
Rex or whatever, putting
Yeah, yeah.
on the scout
Oh, you
trooper.
see him putting it on.
Yeah, you see you
Oh.
see the scout trooper. Like,
Oh.
it's a rebel.
Okay.
And
I didn't know
then,
that.
and
Okay.
then
Why
later
did
on,
I?
and then later on, when everybody is being arrested and they
Yeah.
come
Right.
out,
Yeah,
and
yeah,
it's
yeah.
like it's a trap.
Yeah, no, I remember he's
one of the
yeah, he
rebels
is.
is one of the rebels is
Yeah,
like
yeah,
this,
he's like
dressed up
that,
in
yeah,
a scout
yeah.
scout trooper.
Oh right.
And
Oh
it's like-
yeah.
god. Okay.
And like think about it.
Yeah.
Think
why
about it.
did
I
I
was
not click?
I knew the first two shots. I didn't know the disguise.
Because as a
That's
kid,
funny.
as a kid, I was always like, why is that one Imperial being arrested? But
Yeah,
then
yeah.
watching it again, I was like, oh,
Oh,
he
wow.
puts on the armor and he's pretending to be.
I've got to. Wow, you know
Right.
that's the beauty about any of the original trilogy, and
Lot of
it's
background.
There's
it's
still
been
stuff to
40,
find.
40 years later,
Yeah.
and there's still stuff to find.
Yeah,
and
for
all
sure.
just that's one of the beauty about what George Lucas did. He created characters and secondary characters and all these side creatures that it's rare that you'll find a show or a movie where you sit down and go, I want to know what his story is. I want to know what her story is. And
Original.
and the cool thing is that with the right people in charge, you get to see these little stories, whether it's in book form or comic or whatever, play out. And that's what makes it such a rich world, is the fact there is so much you care about what these characters' daily lives might be that are background characters or side characters or whatever they may be. And it's always a lot of fun to explore
I got another one.
that.
I got another one for you.
Yeah,
for
yeah.
Return of the Jedi.
Oh,
Yep.
okay.
So during and I know I've told you guys this, but during the sail barge sequence,
Mhm.
when there's a scene, it's like one frame
Yep.
when there's a Nikto or whatever on like the gun
Yep.
on
mhm.
the sail barge and he shoots and it hits
Yep.
it hits the skip.
Correct. Yep.
And there's like one frame where you see
Yep.
Chewbacca, like his leg is all bloody and he's like, ah.
Oh,
and his-
really?
and he
Okay.
gets all injured, and that's why he's on the ground like
Huh.
not fighting in the rest of
Right.
the scene when
Oh, wow.
Han's trying to
Okay.
get Lando, because like if you think about
It's
it,
an injury.
why
Yeah.
wouldn't Chewbacca be
Yeah.
up like fighting Boba Fett? Like he's just laying there
Right.
on the ground.
Yeah, yeah,
you know?
yeah,
And he's
yeah,
just
yeah,
sitting,
yeah,
and he's
yeah,
just
yeah.
sit there and is like trying to help
Huh.
Han, and then you
Okay.
never really, and if you really slow it down, you never really think about it. But in
Right.
the scene,
Oh, that's interesting.
he gets shot, and like, and in the deleted scene with the sandstorm. So for those of you who don't know, there's
Right.
a deleted scene where Han, Lando, the whole
Right.
gang go back to the Falcon and the X-wing in the middle
Yeah.
of the sandstorm. It was cut from the
Right,
movie.
right.
But in that, Chewie is wearing like a cast,
Like,
and you can
He's
actually
like
buy
limping,
that.
right? Yeah.
And he's
yeah.
limping, and he's
Okay, I
wearing a
remember
cast,
that.
and you can actually buy that
Mhm.
action figure.
So
Just
I've
found that-
been putting a lot of thought into this scene for some reason, and for some reason this would be like, this is one of those Book of Boba fantasy moments that we do open up from the sail barge point of view of Boba Fett, and that we actually get to see this from Boba Fett's point of
I
view.
was just
But
talking about that on Jedi Jazz.
Oh, really? Oh, that's funny.
I have this
okay.
whole idea. But anyways, go ahead.
I've got this idea too. So this idea starts off that Boba Fett and Bib Fortuna, well, Bib Fortuna is trying to do something to kind of say, this is where I'm going to take over from Jabba. This is where we're going to do something to kill him off, whatever. This is his own little thing. And he's already hired Boba and all this stuff. And due to Bib Fortuna not trusting Boba Fett down the run of wanting to not pay him or whatever, he sticks a little explosive device on the backpack randomly.
Now, that's why the backpack's on there.
Yeah. So now as this
I get
fight,
it.
yeah.
Shoot.
So as this little fight sequence is going on, and Bib Fortuna's like, oh wow, Leia's taking care of Jabba, and there's Boba Fett over there. Click. Explodes at exactly at the same moment that Han hits, because there is an explosion on the back of the backpack itself when Han hits it.
That's really cool.
That gets rid of the form of that Han Solo accidentally, that silly strike that knocks Boba Fett off into the pit.
Yeah, like
it was really an assassination attempt by Bib Fortuna. Now, at this point, this now gives the explanation as to Boba Fett eventually pulls himself out of the Sarlacc and everything goes on, but he also discovers that his backpack actually had a weapon device, an explosive device. This now realizing that Bib Fortuna double-crossed him means that it gives him an explanation to go back and kill Jabba at the end.
Yeah.
I put way too much thought into that process.
I love that.
I love that they kept in Mandalorian that the backpack was still broken.
Yeah.
Mando hits it on Cobb Vanth and it just goes shooting off.
Yeah, that was great too. Yeah, that was awesome too. Yeah,
that adds a lot more to Boba. Just
it adds a bit. Because what they did at the end with Bib Fortuna, I was like, man, there's got to be a reason. Like, there's got to be a real reason. Bib Fortuna had to double cross Boba Fett. This wasn't a straight out assassination that he went in and just shot Bib Fortuna, in my opinion.
Johnny,
I feel like there is.
Yeah, there's some more context there for sure. That's really interesting. I like that.
But it always feels, just from that one little scene at the end of Mandalorian season 2, is that Bib Fortuna did something to double cross Boba Fett, and
good stuff
that would be that just feels like
Bib and they just hate each other, and
they're not.
It could be.
And Fett there's a scene at Jabba's palace where he shows up and Bib, he's threatening Bib and all the bounty, like there's like the surrounding patrons are like sticking him up, but like a John Wick esque thing where everyone's pointing at Boba, and Boba's just like, you don't want to like if we fight, all or some of us are gonna die. You want to die for this guy, and everyone just backs off. Like poor Bib, and like they're just always always at odds. Like they hate each other. It's so great.
Bib's a slimy dude. Like I'm not surprised. Not surprised he right as Jabba died. He probably like was in on Jabba dying or he's hoping he would die, so
I mean, the fact that he jumps on a a swoop or a speeder that's obviously a escape speeder on the barge somewhere.
I mean, that's one of those
or whatever, and gets away.
Things from like, dictionaries and stuff, like all those patrons on Jabba's palace, like their little descriptions and action figures, like they're all conspiring to kill Jabba. That's crazy.
Well, I mean, think about it that way. Boba Fett would be the perfect tool device. If Bib Fortuna persuaded him to, and then of course, if Bib did double, it kind of takes care of the explosive device on the back of his backpack.
It makes sense. I could see that.
It was just a random fun theory.
No,
I doubt
really
it,
cool.
but I do honestly hope they do start this series from the beginning from the sail barge.
Cool.
I hope we get a flashback view. At least that's
like I was saying. I was talking about it yesterday. I kind of want to have this have the whole first episode just be, he gets thrown in the Sarlacc pit, and then like
Right.
as he's getting digested, we go
Yeah.
into like whatever the themes
Yeah.
are gonna hold on. Whatever the themes are gonna
clawing
be.
himself out. I want to see him claw
Oh
himself
yeah,
out.
at the end. But whatever the themes, whatever the story's gonna go, I kind of want them to sprinkle it in with flashbacks at first, so we can see, you know, Boba during the OT. We can see stuff that'll kind of
I agree.
As to what, and then we can go young Boba too.
Yeah.
Because
I want to see this sandcrawler pull up and take
out.
off his armor and steal his armor. I mean,
yes.
seeing
and
a
then the
sandcrawler
final shot of the first episode would be him on the throne again. Back to that. And to something like that, I think that'd be really cool.
Do you think
I
they
wish,
reshoot the scene?
I don't think so.
Like entire.
I don't think so either, but I really would like that.
Yeah, I know. It's the fantasy we would love to see it point of view.
Yes.
So no spoilers, just pure fantasy here, everybody.
Yes, yeah. This is not confirmed.
This is not a scoop. Yeah, this is not a scoop.
Yeah,
this is not. Yeah.
This is us setting ourselves up for disappointment.
This is we're setting exactly.
Yeah.
That's the one thing. It's like
you're watching it live. You're watching us speculate not responsibly live.
Exactly. This is one thing. It's like I do love creating. I love it when I can speculate on something, but I don't attach myself so greatly to something that I speculate that what they show me is completely different. I will sit there and enjoy it no matter what they show me. Right. Because the anticipation is also not knowing that that you could be completely thrown upside down, and sometimes it's just as exciting that you've got a mental thought in your head one way it might go, and they turn it upside down in a perfectly beautiful other direction, and that's always fun to explore. Again, not whether it's Star Wars or anything else, it's always fun to have that moment of like pure excitement of like, I was wrong, but this is just as cool, and I didn't see that coming.
Well, speaking of that, speaking of that, I wanted to say, because we got on this whole conversation from Cad Bane.
Right.
And like one of my most vivid memories of Star Wars is the season 1 Clone Wars finale, watching it live, and that's Cad Bane's first appearance.
Yeah.
And that like really got with me. We can get back to that. But in terms of speculating, we're in the middle of the Bad Batch right now.
Yeah.
I wanted to read out a tweet from Joel Aaron, Lucasfilm VFX supervisor for the Clone Wars, Rebels, Resistance, and the Bad Batch.
Okay.
Someone was talking about the most recent episode, and he responded, "Wait until you see the back half of the season. Strap in starting next week."
I think that next week.
I really now
okay.
Levi and I have had this conversation back and forth online, and I do believe that what we've seen in the trailers only takes us up to mid-season of episode 8.
I think it's 8.
And and it feels like it's definitely going that way, because we saw a great deal in this past week, and we've got 2 episodes left.
Raxus, then Braca.
Braxis, then Baraka.
That's what my prediction is.
Oh, I was gonna say.
So
I'm not sure. I was like, oh, what if
first
was
the question and the thought process comes to me is, usually they show a mid-season trailer. Rebels, they'd always show a mid-season trailer, but there was also a break between the mid-season. So the question is, do we expect to get a mid-season trailer to show the second half, the later half, or
I think so.
Do we get nothing and we are like
Mandalorian?
We are going into those final 4 episodes of Mandalorian not knowing anything, because there's been nothing given to us.
That's true.
And I'm kind of excited not to see anything coming up, because I really want to go in purely now week to week.
We have one shot.
Yeah, I like that.
That's it.
Yeah, I like that feeling with Mando, because we I mean, after all the trailer footage ran out, we had no idea. Nobody had any idea what was going on.
Well,
so that was a really good feeling.
With the speculation point, like I remembered Luke Skywalker. We all sort of in the back of our mind knew it was happening. Everyone
in the back of our mind, absolutely.
But it was
in a million years did we ever think that was going to happen?
I think that was possible.
And it was one of those rare situations where everyone kind of had their own idea of how it would go down, but it was so wild and they did it so beautifely that it was like, all right, I'm fine. Like I had like a somewhat whatever cooler idea in my head, but like that was just amazing. Like
even the stuff with Boba too,
Yeah. Oh yeah. I was curious, what was each of your reaction in real time as you played it through your head? What was your reaction of Luke popping up there?
I actually have a video of that.
You do. I haven't seen it. Okay, I'll have to check that out.
That was a big video. But
he's going. It's Sebastian Stan. It's Sebastian Stan.
Not the whole time, but I did.
I don't know.
Once or twice.
Once or twice.
It was probably like most visceral reaction I've ever had to like anything. It was crazy.
I was just in disbelief. I was like, "There's no way they're actually doing this. Like that's it. They're gonna pull something."
Yeah, I mean, I hate to say it. I had, not really hate to say it, but I had the exact same reaction that Star Wars Theory had. I just started crying. Like the moment the words "lone X-wing" came in.
Yeah.
You knew immediately.
That was I knew immediately.
I did too,
yeah,
but some people didn't.
Immediately, and I just all I remember, and I wish I would record it, and we'll kind of do and kind of don't, but all I remember saying was, "You crazy bastards, you're actually going there." That's all I could say. That's all I could say, and it just wouldn't stop. Even to the point that I hit the end credits, and I knew there was a scene visually playing in front of me at the end credits, and I had to pause it because I had to really take a moment. Then about 10 minutes later, I went back and rewatched the final, the Book of Boba Fett. But because I purely was absolutely emotionally pulled in such a state that's all I could do, and it was just a visceral reaction of just absolute. It was joy. It was unbelievable. It was the golden age of what we always wanted to see of Luke Skywalker moving forward. From Return of the Jedi onwards,
right?
And it doesn't matter what you felt, about the sequel trilogy. There was this moment of like, what did these characters do right after Return of the Jedi? And this was it.
This is like peak Luke.
This is what we. This is yeah. And I had that reaction. I was like, I just couldn't stop, and it wasn't like bawling. It wasn't like sob.
I didn't bawl.
It was just like I just couldn't stop. I just couldn't stop. It was emotionally impactful for me.
Yeah, same here.
I'm getting chills just thinking about the scene.
Yeah.
I'm just like,
it does. Yeah.
It's pretty crazy.
It is. Yeah.
But I couldn't stop. I couldn't stop smiling. But my face hurt. But I had
smile. It was smiling. It was crying. It was
yeah.
But I had a more intense reaction though. I had a more intense reaction to Bo-Katan showing up. Actually, I audibly like.
I never made a video about that.
Did you actually catch
my reaction to it?
Oh yeah.
And I was shaking. Yeah, it was,
that very split
crazy.
second through the grate.
I saw it.
Immediately. I was like, what?
Yes. And for me, I think the Luke thing. Not only was it not even rumored, but after the whole debate week after week after week of the Force user thing, it still had it in my brain. Whereas the Bo-Katan appearance was, I did not expect it for a second. Well, not in that moment. Well, not in that moment, I mean, but not in that episode. Not just coming down from the sky.
Sabine Bo-Katan in that episode.
I didn't think it was going to be like that though, and how the music and how just badass they were. And then
Dallas Bryce Howard's direction on that was just phenomenal. I can't wait to see what she does in the Bryce Dallas Howard. Sorry,
And then being
so good.
Clone Wars fan, like watching.
Yes,
Remembering when Bo-Katan
that was a Clone Wars episode. That's
so
like
I
was in the Clone Wars episode.
You guys watch Clone Wars from more or less, I guess, what age of 2 maybe or 3 or 5?
Who?
Did you?
I was
8. You were 8. Okay.
I was 6. Yeah, I was.
Sorry.
I was
6. 12 years ago. All right. Okay.
I was 6 or 7.
Okay, I watched it from pretty much day one at that point.
It's 2008.
And followed through. Yeah. Okay,
it was 2008.
Fine.
It wasn't.
I keep forgetting. Yeah. Wow, shame. But I watched it from day one. It pulled me in from the beginning. Even the crazy, not so brilliant.
Oh wait, so you got pulled in immediately? That's funny because a lot of people.
Yeah. I got pulled in to continue watching it. It wasn't until I want to say episode 9 when Ventress showed up and had the fight on the lightsabers in the Star Destroyer reactor, which was
That
was the moment. That was
with Argaius.
Yeah, that was
Commando.
Yes, that was my defining. Yeah, that was my defining moment in the series that made me go, this is incredible. Wow. This lightsaber fight is equivalent at the time. It was the equivalent to episode 1 for me of the lightsaber.
Oh yeah,
fight.
no, all those
choreography
was fantastic.
The choreography is insane.
The
pipe physics.
And even though they were in the early days of the CGI stuff for the series, that was that defining moment. And it wasn't. I've probably gone back and watched the series, probably about 5 or 6 times over since it aired, and appreciate more and more, especially when you watch it in chronological order, which is the only way I can watch it.
It's called Cloak of Darkness. I want to say off the top of my
Yeah,
head.
for the first one.
I'll say season 1, episode 9, Cloak of Darkness. And it's the shot for me. It's the shot when Ventress comes out of the landing craft, and there's that clone, that one clone on the ground.
Yeah.
And it zooms and she just cuts his head off, and I was like, oh my god,
this is it. This is where we're going. This is
And Ventress stabs our guys at the very end through the chair and just kills him.
That was. I was just like, this is awesome.
Ventress means business,
and
Ventress, that is a.
Yeah. And those early seasons especially were like visually very clunky, but the fights always worked.
Oh yeah.
Like I don't know, like it's just the way they choreograph them, and I love how like they're very fast, but like when lightsabers clash, it's like they're there for a while, like and then they sort of stick to each other. And
it's also the editing. The editing of the speed really was again, George Lucas, who, as we all know, had a massive amount to do with how that was shot of the series, and his editing. Even though we can sit there and go, other people did a lot of his editing, his brain process about how he chooses shots is phenomenal. I think he still has,
he was definitely more involved in the earlier seasons.
Correct. Yeah. It felt, and so to see that stuff develop and all that, I still, you got to admire the guy. Yeah,
I love. It was shot like live action, like it was just well-known knowledge, but
he would just like see people in like the elevator, be like, bring Darth Maul back.
I love all those behind the scenes.
Yeah, all those stories. As the seasons went on, it was more and more Dave and George just come back in.
And those I was just thinking about those. Like they did like for every like arc, they would do like behind the scenes kind of little documentary attached to whatever season it was.
That's where I was going to go.
Watch shows like
if anyone hasn't seen them on Disney, on StarWars.com, they've got every small featurette, and if you ever really. On every single episode, at least up to season 5. If you really want to truly pick the mind of Dave Filoni, because he almost interviews in every one of those episodes, talking about something related to the Force or the choices why. If you really want to truly understand what he's doing in his future stuff, go watch these features. Go watch
the cast and crew. They break down stuff on that too. Even
Rebels
technical stuff.
Rebels Recon as well. If you watch them, if you really want to understand Dave Filoni, if you want to understand what he, there are people that question things in these series, and I sit there and go, you just don't understand. You need to understand Dave Filoni as to what he is setting up here. You have to look at these. If you go back and you take what people consider the weakest episode of Mandalorian season 2, which is the second one in with the Spider episode, that is no different to me than Rebel season 1 when Hera and Sabine end up on the planet on the asteroid with the creatures, because it ends up by being it's a booby trap. It's a death trap waiting to be used a little bit later for somebody. It's because that's when Kanan go back there with Ezra and the tracking device and draw the Grand Inquisitor there, and that alone was just like, okay, this is a setup. So whether they use that again in the future, it feels like that episode is there for a reason for me, because it allows them to play with a setup as a trap somewhere down the arc to bring a character into to trap them there. That's when you get the mind-blowing, oh, this is awesome, because again, maybe it goes that direction, maybe it doesn't, but it automatically goes that way.
I think they can definitely be frustrating in the moment. I remember I loved
I agree.
But I remember watching it and being like, this second episode you want to do it like this, but I mean, I appreciate it much more now that
it's just because the week to week thing. Once it's done, once you're watching
it's so It's
we're feeling it with Bad Batch too.
I was going to say feeling it for Bad Batch.
That's the one thing with Bad Batch, is like it's definitely following the Rebels format, and I think that there's this element of when they say we're going to follow and continue from the Clone Wars. The one beautiful thing about the Clone Wars was it's very much like Game of Thrones or Walking Dead or any of those shows. It breaks from the main character from week to week. It doesn't necessarily follow on. We are invested in what is happening in the galaxy right now, not just around these characters. We're already invested on these characters. We want to know what Grand Moff Tarkin's doing on the other side of the galaxy right now for half an episode. We want to know what, you know, Rex might be doing, or Ahsoka in occasional episodes. We want to see these little seeds
I wonder what Rampart's doing.
being set up.
Yeah.
Rampart. Oh yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
I can't wait to learn more about that new character.
I made an action figure for him.
Really?
I know.
No way. Oh,
I
cool.
better be doing
before
something.
I knew who it was.
Yeah. But again, another brand new character that we want to see the background so badly.
Yeah.
But I was hoping for a little bit more of what else is going on around the galaxy, because it's such a rich time that we still know really not a lot.
I think we've been getting a lot of that.
I think.
Oh, we have within the element of the characters, because it's been coming to the characters.
Yeah.
I don't mind taking the occasional step out from the characters.
I'm right there with you, but
Outside the group, you mean?
Right. Yeah. Outside the group.
Okay.
Especially the most recent episode.
Correct. Yeah.
Well, the first one, and then in terms of like, because I think most people like the first episode, the second episode with Delaquain, and then the third one with Crosshair. Everyone's on the same page. Like, those are all good. But I feel like the first one we got to see with Pantora and you know, the Empire coming in, and you know, the chain code thing, and people's different reactions to that. I like that element.
Right.
Yeah.
Last week seeing the slavers and, you know, like the Empire, there's no more Republic, and that element of Lord Mantell, the CD nature. And then this week going to Corellia and getting the implication, the implication that the battle droids are melted down to build the Star Destroyers.
That was great. Yeah.
I love that implication.
And
I
the
think
fact
that's super cool.
Yeah, and the fact that we definitely are on Corellia. People keep complaining about, well, we see the same streets as Solo. So what? That sets the familiarity
that's cool.
right
I
there.
like that
Visually,
more.
in your brain, whether you remember it or not, whether you watch Solo once or whether you watch it 10 times, your brain automatically goes, oh, I feel in a very familiar place. Now let's move on and continue into other parts of that. And that's again, that's the reason why it's brilliantly orchestrated as from the creators, because
I've always said it's like poetry, you know, it rhymes. Like it's supposed to be familiar.
Exactly. You get a shot, you get a frame, you get like a less than a second shot of the exterior, show something that we've seen before, because it's immediate familiarity to the audience. And then the idea is you move on, you explore a little bit more about that world.
I just love the implications of the decommissioned, and like not only how pointless the whole Clone Wars was, right? Because Palpatine would manage to get all the businesses and the trade conglomerates and manipulate the freedom, the people who want freedom, you know, who felt disenfranchised by the Republic, and then they created the battle droids, and now they're just being melted down and turned back into his own war machine, you know, and it was ultimately his the whole time anyway, and now the droids are getting melted down into making the Star Destroyer.
Exactly.
And I love that. I think that is just like the ultimate thematic, like it is what it is. And I was listening to Force Center with Ken Knapsack and Joseph Scrimshaw, great podcast.
Great show.
They're older, and they were like, never once did I think, when I watched The Phantom Menace and you know, you hear the Roger Roger for the first time, that those guys get melted down into Star Destroyers.
You know what?
I know.
It's like, it's
how wonderful it is to actually once in a while see these battle droids pop up again. But I love the fact that every once in a while they'll switch on you know, whether it was Rebels or whatever, every once in a while they'd switch on one of these battle droids, and it's like, oh, I like this, I'm enjoying this now, where it might have annoyed me originally or whatever it may be, but I thoroughly enjoyed
the battle droid stuff in Rebels was really cool.
Oh yeah. I love how they tied that arc off. Sorry.
Let me correct myself. Luke says no one's ever really gone, right?
Yeah.
The battle droids
no one ever really died. No one's ever really gone.
With General Kalani in Rebels, who I love the tie that in Rebels, or sorry, Clone Wars season 5, at the end of the arc, which General Kalani is in, Count Dooku tells him to go to Agamar, and then in Rebels we see
that's on
Agamar.
Oh, okay, no.
I love little details like that. I love
They're thorough.
Well, because it's supposed to be a story that moves forward, you know, and so you have to kind of show if you set up one thing, it's like let's see what it's like here. And so I always thought it kind of made sense. I know some people say the galaxy can feel smaller when they're reusing the same characters or using the same planets and stuff. But I always thought it kind of made sense to do something.
No, it completely makes sense. I mean, there are central points in the galaxy that you know that are cross paths that everything usually cross through at one point or another. I'm curious about your thoughts on a character, Admiral Yularen.
Yeah, it's a good one.
And now,
great book
I
stuff.
always
Great book
here's the
stuff for
thing,
Yularen.
yeah,
I don't know
Yularen
the book
always,
stuff.
yeah, when you can, yeah, I don't know the book stuff, but you consider the fact that Yularen, especially in the Clone Wars, and that one time we see him in Rebels, he's a really honorable guy. And I wonder how he kind of plays well against Tarkin in this new empire. And I'm
Read
kind of
Thrawn.
curious as to, huh? Oh, really? Okay,
Is
all
that
right.
on Thrawn? Okay.
All right,
Yeah,
okay.
you
I will
learn.
have
You
to, all right.
learn. You learn
Maybe I'll get,
is
yeah,
sort of befriends Thrawn
okay.
because I can identify that, and you see
All
that
right,
relationship
okay.
in Rebels a little bit.
Right, okay. Yes,
Yeah.
right,
Like
yep.
he
Okay.
identifies that Thrawn is like a good, like if Thrawn and the Thrawn you see in Rebels is a little bit. It's a different side of
than the
Thrawn
novel, right?
than
Right,
when you
right.
see in the novel.
He's like more of a
Right.
detective in the novel, in the
Yeah,
book.
yeah.
Well,
Right?
he's
It
in both. You
seems.
just have with much like
Oh, I
we're
guess
talking
yeah.
about
He's
with
in
TV
much.
shows. Just when
Right.
when you get to get inside of a character's
Mhm.
head and you get to know more of their motivations and you spend
Yeah,
more
yeah.
time on the
Right.
pages, you get to know them a little bit better. So it
Yeah.
feels a little different. But yeah, you learn and Thrawn
Yeah.
have a relationship. Thrawn is sort of his tie to the Imperial military, and then
Right,
Yularen is
okay.
is like the head of the ISB, and so they
Right.
can work together. And he can identify that Thrawn is really good
Yeah.
at investigating stuff. So like
Yeah.
that's a great resource for the ISB.
Yeah, but where I'm going is like with Yularen, he's the type of character that I don't necessarily think is down for bullying the local, villages and all this sort of stuff. And it seems like that kind of side of the empire is almost kept away from him to a certain degree, or he's turning a blind eye on purpose, which doesn't make sense for
Yeah,
his
I don't know.
character.
When you're in charge of the Imperial Security Bureau, I feel like
Yeah.
you'd see a lot. You would know a lot of stuff.
Yeah,
but,
but yeah. It's one of those questionable
I mean,
things.
he's on the Death Star. Yularen's on
Yeah,
the Death
that's
Star.
Oh
true,
yeah,
that's
no,
true.
I no, absolutely. I mean, did he technically die on the Death Star?
He
guess is
did,
the
yeah,
que-
he
he
died on the
did.
Death
That is
Star.
official.
Yeah.
All right, okay,
Yeah.
all right, okay.
He's in 2 scenes. Everybody, he's in 2
Yeah,
scenes.
Yeah.
Rest in
Yeah, I
peace.
just
maybe.
didn't know he was there when the final.
He's
battle
probably a
was.
bad person, so never
Yeah.
mind. Don't rest in peace.
So
Rest in pieces.
I think he's more like emblematic though of because there's a lot of officers like that. It's
right.
one of the broader themes of the prequels of how just normal people can sort of fall
Yeah.
into.
I guess
cycle
I mean,
of-
it happens in real
cycle of the
life too,
regime.
doesn't it? Yeah, it happens in
Like
real life.
he's
Yeah.
just the company man. He's
Very
not.
true.
Or
Right,
rather,
yeah.
he's just a military man. Like that's what he knows
Yeah.
how to do. It's what he's good at. There's
Yeah.
actually a really good story about Jan Dodana, the character Dodana from Rebels and even in A New Hope. He has a similar thing. He in Legends, like he was an officer, and when like it switches to the Empire, he was an officer in the Republic, and when it switches to the Empire, he
Right.
sort of has like a crisis of conscience, and
Right. Okay.
he's also
and
like a
leaves
military
in-
man and has to leave,
Right.
and
Yeah.
he and I don't think it's Yularen. It's one of the other notable admirals, and they have like this.
Right.
I don't know. There's really good stories about just
Okay.
these. Like you see people in the rebellion and on the Empire.
They question.
It's like the Civil War.
their-
It's a
Yeah,
Civil
yeah,
War. It's
yeah,
like the
yeah,
Civil
yeah.
War. How in
Within
the
their
real life,
own group,
the American Civil War anyway.
Yeah.
Like a lot of the officers on both sides, they went
Right.
to school together. Like they went. They're part of the same class of person in
Yeah,
terms of the people who are officers, and it's the same
Right.
thing with the Galactic
Just,
Civil War.
just find themselves fighting on opposite sides or choose a new side.
Yeah,
to
like
go
they,
with,
it's a like once you're 19 years into the
Mhm.
regime, Yularen's probably
Yeah.
not going to leave. Like every year, and that's a whole thing in the books and the Alphabet Squadron books that I want to spoil. I guess I would encourage everyone to read them. That slow corruption of
haven't-
everybody in the Empire
Right.
really is part of
Okay.
Palpatine's whole thing. It's a
Okay.
whole
yeah,
thing.
Yeah.
It's very cool.
Yeah.
That dude's
I-
evil. Palpatine's an
I-
evil dude.
Yeah.
That's all I want.
Oh, he's evil. He's
That
evil.
guy is
No.
a real.
He's
a
a
real
good guy.
ass-
He's a real
Sheev,
piece of
come on.
work.
He's a
Come
real
on,
piece of work.
Sheev.
Yeah.
Just you gotta get to know him, man.
That was the one thing I loved about Cut and Run. Immediately, right there, like less than 5 days later, I'm guessing, the very first Imperial, our overtaking of the small backwater worlds. The fact that they would be already there, they're the easiest, obviously, to take over quickly.
It's the ones that were like flashpoints
Yeah.
in the Clone Wars, like oh,
Exactly,
we had troops there.
yeah,
I think
yeah,
Hunter makes a mention of it, like
Yeah,
the war's over, the troops should be pulling back.
yeah,
But,
yeah.
you know,
They've been, exactly.
Seleucumai was, I think, part of the Outer Rim sieges. 'Cause
Yeah,
you see a Jedi die there in Order 66. I think Stasis Ali
Oh.
dies there.
Oh, really?
She's the one on the speeder bike.
Okay.
It's the shot in Red
Oh, of course,
Oh,
it's
right,
Seleucumai.
yeah.
Yeah.
That's on
it's
Seleucumai.
Of course it is. Yeah. The design, of course.
I know Aiden, if you're watching this, if you made it this far, I know he wanted to see Neo. Commander Neo was on Seleucumai, but we didn't get to see him. Hopefully one day.
Yeah.
Hopefully one day.
Yeah. But
I hope to see more clones in the show. I think we will, but
well, I mean, it's obviously
the 5 we're seeing.
It's guessing that's what Rex is for.
I think we're gonna see a lot.
Well, I mean,
again, we do have a whole another half a season.
Coming to tie back into the Bad Batch talk. So we have footage from a planet called Raxus, which is the separatist homeworld where the council was. Like you see that in Clone Wars, where like Mina Bonteri is. You see this. There's an episode where Ahsoka and Padme go there.
That's with all the walkers that are heading towards the city.
All the so we have that episode. And we have another episode which we think is Bracca, and that's the scrapyard planet from Fallen
Order. Would be shocked if it wasn't Bracca.
But there is one other shot. There is one single shot in the trailer that isn't from those 2 episodes.
Okay.
It is a shot of the moon Concordia of Mandalore. And
you can't say that they're not from one of the 2 episodes. They might actually add that in a single episode and have 2 moments. And
I'm just saying in this back half of the season, see the moon.
Yeah, no, I know. Yeah.
What shot is it?
Yeah.
It's just one. So it's in the first trailer. It's in the first trailer. The first trailer was cut to be like an A-team type thing, where it's the Havoc Marauder flying towards a bunch of planets, and it keeps cutting between them.
Yeah.
One of the planets.
One of them was Concordia.
Yeah, Concordia,
which is a moon.
You see the disruption of the rubble of the debris of the planet.
I didn't even know that.
Yeah.
Have we also seen that shot where
No. Brent, that's Concord Dawn. That's
sorry. Okay. Okay.
I'm thinking of Concordia, which is the moon where Pre Vizsla was like governor in Clone Wars.
Yeah.
Right, but there wasn't. I thought there was debris in the background as well. Wasn't that close by or no? Okay.
No,
I'll have to agree.
Well, that was probably Bracca you were thinking of then.
All right. Okay. All right.
I don't know, but it's the moon of Mandalore.
Right. Okay. Yeah. We see it in Rebels. Yeah.
I was saying there's also that shot where I believe it's Hunter and he's like sliding and he's not shooting to kill.
That's Raxus.
That's Raxus. Oh, okay.
That's on Raxus. No, it's all accounted for, but there's just one shot, and there's a friend of mine and one of the other Discord servers who is just she is just going on. She will not stop. She wants Corky Kenobi. She's a huge fan of the Corky Kenobi.
Corky. I've seen that.
But she's always, she loves that. But she has been hanging on to the shot. She's the one who showed me it was Concordia. She's got the graph. She's like, look, it's Concordia. We're going to Mandalore. It's Mandalore. And I'm like,
we're gonna be.
And
it's funny.
And I don't, with all the rumors that Bo-Katan's going to be in the show and that stuff, like, I can see it. Like, I see it. And
I can see it as well.
Corky might be dead, right? It's kind of implied that he's no longer. I mean, because Bo-Katan says I'm the last of my line.
Well, we don't know if they're blood related. Well,
yeah.
That's the thing.
No.
You would have to assume,
I think he might be dead by then. But that's besides the point. Point being is that after that, the animation supervisor
as of right now
said, get ready for the back half because this first half has been, if you thought the first half was gonna pick up, wait till you see the last half.
Yeah.
And I think the
model maybe theory, we'll get everything that we've been theorizing.
Yeah, I mean,
like
Cody like any Filoni series, you need to go through your character development and your setup and your layout,
right?
Everything, and I'm fine with that. I think people are too nitty picky in the first 4 or 5 episodes in, and kind of going off and saying, "Hey, it wasn't as good." So. On the overall story arc, it's necessary. If they jumped in so quickly, full on, one after the other, that was continual, everybody would be complaining and going, I think we need to slow down a little just to kind of get to feel. And that's this weird conundrum between, do you go too fast or do you go too slow?
That's also the week to week, like
the week to week is what makes it feel like it drags out. I agree that.
Like you see the Bad Batch arc in season 7 altogether, and you're like, okay, I get it. That's great. It works really well. But I remember week to week, it was like, okay, like it's good. I like it, but it's I'm waiting for a little more.
Yeah, the Martiz sisters dragged on a little bit, but now after this week, but you think about it, I've got a slightly different perspective on this now, and it's only until this week that I didn't have this perspective.
Gave them an arc.
Huh? Yeah, no,
gave them an arc. Yeah.
Not just gave them an arc, but there's something that I haven't really seen. In that 4-part episode, they kept on repeating the same mistakes over and over again, even though they were getting to be a better group of people because of Ahsoka, they still continually repeated the same mistake, doing a deal with the wrong person or this or that, or getting themselves in the same bad situation. And there are people in life that just tend to naturally do that. And I think that's kind of a fascinating element. So I'm going into this part of my theory with if and right now it seems like all roads point that it's probably going to be Rex, in my opinion, who's on the other side of that hologram image, only because they've got R7 there and R7 and Ahsoka and Rex.
We were thinking Mace Windu on the watch party, which I think we were on a different kind of.
But you've got to stop you've got to stop and think though. Who have the Martez sisters really been in connection with? Have they been in connection with Bail? I don't think they have. So why would they? My real thought process here is that these characters keep making the same mistakes again, even though they're fighting for what they think is the good side. Have they just made another accidental mistake and dealt with Commander Cody instead? Because that A, brings Cody into the loop, but B, they think they're doing this right because they think they've got a clone. Who else would, apart from Rex, would gain from gaining the droid tactical head data? It would be Cody, because he's going to want to be hunting down both Rex and Ahsoka. Now, on top of everything else, when it comes to Wrecker and his little mind chip, Rex is also on that hit list for the clones as well. So the question is, will Wrecker... Everyone's saying, wait for the first Jedi to show up. What happens if Wrecker goes straight and try to get a pot shot at Rex? Because Rex also could technically be on the hit list.
He got marked.
He's marked, because and so there is that element too that I really haven't seen a huge much of discussion on. So there is two ways this could play out. One, I personally think it is Rex, and that is, that's the direction it's going to be because of the connection with the droid and everything else. There's no explanation as to why they would have the droid if it was Cody technically, but maybe it's a red herring as well. We don't know. But my choices are Rex first, but then it would be Cody next, because Cody is the one who might end up by coming in and saying
haven't heard
whatever he
Cody
wants
yet.
to say.
That's interesting.
He might be there to say. And again, that's like, we don't know. We won't know. Hopefully we'll learn in the next 2 weeks. I'm sure.
I just think the evidence stacks against it being Rex, I think the most, just because we know he's coming. I agree. We haven't seen him yet.
But Levi always brings up that good point that why would Rex need he's got all the clones.
Yeah,
he's
exactly.
He
got
clone,
but Cody does not, and that's why if the Martez sisters fall into that accidental trap, we've already seen them through this 4-part arc of making the same mistake continually, even though they're trying to be good.
I think it's Bail. I think it's Bail.
But wait, what? Why are you saying it's Bail?
But okay, so
I'm on the Bail train full on. After the
right. You're on the Bail train, but I'm curious as to what the connection to the Martez sisters would be directly. Why would Bail deal with two young?
I think we're looking too much into their connection to whoever it is. So the way I read the episode, they because their whole thing in the original arc, they're the people who felt the most disenfranchised by the Republic. Right. And once the Republic turns into the Empire, it justifies everything they thought.
Absolutely.
And validates all of what they had, all of their mental construct about the way the world worked. Right. As soon as Palpatine takes control, they're like, oh my God.
Right.
This is what we've been saying.
So why would they trust why would they trust Rex or Cody then, I guess is
I'm going to now they're at this point after meeting Ahsoka where they think that they can Ahsoka showed them that they can help other people. Yeah. And that's what the rebellion is in the beginning. I have a ship. I have a ship. I want to help. We want to help people. So I feel like they would seek out. I don't think they were sought out. I think they would seek out, hey, can we help?
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
And I feel like they would go to someone like Bail, who at this time is super early stages of the rebellion.
Who would they? Yeah. My thing is that usually. I
think Ahsoka probably
just as an introduction, but sometimes in a meeting, I always consider that meetings that big between two characters who have never met, just to be theorized that happened in some sort of backstory, feels a little, I don't know.
The biggest thing for me is the sash. I've seen so many comparisons.
Yeah, you didn't think it was Bail that night though. We talked about Bail.
I've changed my mind.
That's the great thing about it. We can keep changing our minds.
I know.
Drop it on us. I
just think it's Rex because Also, I don't know.
The figure's nonsense, man. It's nonsense.
The Rex thing.
look at the figure. It doesn't look the same at all. It doesn't even look like Rex, quite frankly.
Oh really? It might be Cody.
So what? It could be.
Yeah.
So what Johnny's talking about?
Yeah.
What Johnny's talking about?
Yeah.
So there was a Black Series leak.
We've mentioned the new
in the
new
Bad
figures.
Batch wave.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yep.
So you saw on the panel.
No, it was not a leak. It's not a leak. It's not a leak. There's no leaks
It
involved.
was a leak a while ago.
No, there's no leak. It wasn't a leak. This is on the side.
It's like public information.
Yeah, it's on the side of the Wrecker box. So
Wrecker box. Yeah, I know.
That's not a leak.
Okay, I shouldn't say. Okay, it's not a leak. Okay, I get it. Sorry.
We were detectives. We put it on our magnifying glass.
on the side panel. Yeah, they have a picture of the character and then like a little segment of whoever is next in that line.
Yeah.
See, and it's suspected that it's Rex in a some kind of robe or something like that, or some kind of cloak or whatever.
Rex is
that's right. So yeah,
let me explain
okay, maybe I'm
a little bit better maybe. So you can kind of see, Brent, how like the figures have a little photo on the side.
I've seen some photos, but I haven't seen a close up of the actual visual.
Yeah,
of
and so
partial.
They all form to make like one long thing, and as
they just haven't released the next figure that goes on that.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But honestly, so on the Wrecker one, there's a figure on the right, there's a character on the right and on the left. Everyone's focusing on the one on the right, which is a clone. It's a clone arm, but it doesn't have any markings on it. It's purely white. That's why I don't think it's Rex.
Right.
And then it does have a cloak like really close to the shoulder and neck. It doesn't go all the way over like the one we saw in Hologram.
Right, and then
but the character on the left looks way more like the cloaked figure.
I can't remember the one on the left.
Look at it. It's on Discord. I have no idea. It doesn't.
They don't identify.
Well, there is an Omega, so I feel like Omega would probably be thrown in either left or right. So
Omega's not taller than Rex.
No, I know. That's what I'm saying. That's why I want to look
at it. So I do like the Cody theory. They definitely have to like put a lot more substance into it.
It would be more of a reality to me, but my first goal is definitely my first pick is definitely Rex. Just now, and I say that by the way is because. Also, remember these episodes are written and put together a year and a half, 2 years ago, and who knows what marketing is going to end up by doing with something. Sometimes they purely don't have control, and the Rex thing very much could very well be edited into that only because it could be as much as Disney freaking out and going, "Hey, we need to do something that's going to tie in our real."
That looks like a tunic from
and decide
from Bracca, by the way, the one on the right.
See, it doesn't look like Rex. It doesn't look like Rex.
Yeah. The poncho, poncho.
But we also know Rex is
from Bracca.
Yeah.
So the one that like Cal would have.
Okay, this is.
Anyways.
But either way. But no, I lost where I was going.
It's okay.
Yeah.
To take it back
That's
to
cool.
the Clone Wars.
Yes.
I think my favorite one of those behind the scenes thing is definitely the one. So there's an episode in season 3 in which it follows the Papanoida family, which George Lucas famously portrayed in. It's just Dave Filoni talking about it. I was like, I gotta model my boss. And it's so funny. And it's like they're shooting at him. And he's like, it's weird. It's my boss.
One of my favorite ones, and I can't remember if this was in Rebels Recon or in the featurettes of the Clone Wars. And Dave Filoni specifically talks about the Force. And I've always loved the George's mythology on the levels of the Force, the different cultures, and all this sort of stuff. But what explained it to me the best was when within the Star Wars universe, Dave Filoni says there was this old set of films, the Ewok movies that they did back in 1984, and we all know what they are. But then he goes on and he talks about the fact that there's this moment in the film, and I saw these films when they first came out. I think they went straight to TV or DVD in Australia. But there's this moment Logray and Chief Chirpa are sitting there, and Logray spins this device, and it's like magic, and it's a top that spins, and it shows them where it's like a magic crystal ball kind of thing, and it shows them where the parents are being kept from the kids and all this. And I always thought, oh, they're bringing magic into Star Wars. It's a little silly and whatever. And it wasn't until that Dave Filoni says that this is just another version of the Force being explained. And it just clicked, and it's like everything can be explained. Just because there is a Jedi and a Sith, it doesn't mean that it is the same version of the Force.
It was probably
and
one of the Night Sister episodes where he was
yeah,
explaining
yeah, it
that's
could have been.
that's
Yeah,
that's
yeah,
something where
it
people are always
was,
like,
yeah.
is it magic? Is it the
Yeah,
Force?
yeah. And I suddenly realized, and I love the fact that magic can be considered the Force from a different culture, and we see it much more with Zab's people, with the Ashlar,
the
and
Ashla, and
the Ashlar, and everything else that goes on. Even the I forgot her name in season 6, where Jar Jar and they go up
Queen
against
Julia.
the Night Sister. But yes, that's the one. Yeah, and that whole, wow, you are such an awesome, knowledgeable brain, dude. I love your brain. I wish I had your brain, Levi. Just those little elements, and if you consider all that, then you should be able to sit back and just relax yourself on the concept of the Force, and that even the idea of, for me, the world between worlds, it's not about time travel. It's about just what the Jedi were like millennia ago, being explorers, being able to observe past and future through these portals, through this place that they were able to either create or whatever the story is going to be. So I'm more accepting of that, because you see those same portals in Mortis. You see them in the father's room. You see this whole architectural style that connects to those elements. Yeah, and I'm fine with there being a deeper, greater, older species out there that never ever used it for what people keep saying is time travel. Time travel never even really came to. Ezra did this fluke thing by not knowing anything about it, that he pulled Ahsoka out. But the reality was, it's just like, it is a form of, it's an observation deck for observing these things. And I don't mind the concept of that place existing in the future, even though Filoni's kind of said we're going to back away from all this. For me, it works.
I feel like they might use it again level in like the live action Ahsoka series. I mean, even by the logo, it seems like they are going to explore a little bit more. I don't really know to what extent exactly, but.
Well, your point kind of goes back to like the Wills of the Force thing, where it wasn't
the show could start. The show could start coming out of Malachor.
That's what I thought. Yeah,
because we really don't know what happened to because
she has to lay
her
low
over that kind of time period, the OT and stuff. Yeah.
Because she doesn't want to mess up the time.
It's quite interesting. Brent, so do you have anything else you want to show off?
I've got let's see.
Or like maybe like your favorite thing in your collection, or just something like that. I would love to see it.
I don't know if I've necessarily got a favorite thing. Some of the older figures.
I bet it's hard to decide. Yeah.
It's kind of hard to decide. I really don't have an individual favorite thing. I mean, I could show you some. Hang on a second. Let me.
Oh, good.
This is going to take a moment.
I love the Calicori behind you.
I know.
Oh yeah. I got that from Disney. Yeah, I got that from Disney.
That's talk on.
I don't. Yeah, I think I mentioned earlier. I did work at the movie theaters at one point. I did manage to get myself a trailer print of Episode 2, 35mm, which is
pretty awesome.
Yeah, I don't know if it's that. Like, I don't know how rare it really is these days. People do that all the time.
I don't know. That's pretty cool.
Amazing. That's pretty cool.
That is cool.
This was the very first Episode 1 figure that came out, which is
the blue lightsaber Mace Windu.
Yeah, the blue lightsaber.
That's right.
What were they thinking? Jesus.
Yeah.
Before even cool Samuel Jackson approached
George
Lucas about it, because he never had a lightsaber in Episode 1.
That's
awesome.
And then I'll take us way back to the cassette tape of of the holiday special, which is
Bill and I watched it once, and we actually made a video about it. Yeah, it was a tough watch.
That was rough.
Yeah, it's
but
that's
so cool. I love that.
that. This
something.
is just. Yeah, it's something. It's like,
I have I love those preview figures. I have the preview ones for Attack of the Clones. It was Jango and Zam Wessel.
Oh yeah, I saw that. Yeah, the other one that came out with the Mace figure was the battle droid on the Stap. Yeah, and I know I've got it somewhere. That was one of the That was one of the things. It's like it's interesting, and you're going to find this as well as you go through. As you end up by going through life, there are things that you collect and you gain that you love and you need in your life at that moment in time. And then years later, it's like they're not as important, so they get boxed away and put away, and something cooler and newer comes along, kind of thing. But I did collect a lot of the 3/4-inch figures back in the day. I guess right through to the beginning of Revenge of the Sith, and then it just got too many figures and too expensive, and all that.
they
and I never got every
out.
variant. I didn't get every. There were gaps in my collection as I collected things. But eventually you'll get to a point, you'll suddenly go, this is kind of cool, and it's what you enjoy at the moment of your life that when you're a collector, that you actually will take in. And then later in life that stuff may not mean as much, and so eventually you say, let's get rid of this, sell it, or put it whatever, and then you move on to something that comes along that inspires you differently.
I don't know about this. I don't know about how this is for you, Brent, but I lose so much time in my day just staring at the stuff and like pulling stuff out and just like staring at it and putting it back. And,
I used to. I don't as much. It's weird. It's like I'll collect it because it's like it's an impulse thing. It's like I want to have this as part of this because in my head I'm going to create a display and this and that and whatever. I mean, I could try to take the camera off the phone and walk us through. I don't know if we want to do that this time or maybe.
Yeah, if you want, yeah, sure. I mean, if it's not too much trouble,
we could give it a try. I don't know how it's going to affect. I'll have to walk my laptop with it as well and through. So
if it's too much, you don't have to. But
that's right. Let's find out what happens. So first, can you hear me?
Yeah, I can.
Yeah.
Okay, so it's good. It's gone through onto that. Now let's take this off from here. Okay.
Doing it live, people. You made this
we're going to
taking a tour.
We're taking a tour. The whole laptop's coming with me, and we're going to do a flip around here. This is my DVD.
Oh my god, that's insane.
So hang on a second. Sorry, guys. Okay, now good. All right. Yeah, this is kind of like the old DVD collection and Blu-ray collection, whatever. Yeah, whatever.
It's a small collection.
Whatever.
But then I have a couple of things. That was the Sideshow Indiana Jones. They released the Back to the Future hoverboard.
I have the hoverboard.
Back. You've got a couple of. I'm a multi.
Are you into the DC animated universe? I didn't even.
I love the DC animated universe more than I like the Marvel animated universe. So.
Yeah, same here.
But I love that. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Well, I did some work on a music video for Marvel at one point, which was
yeah. You told me about that. Actually, do you want to talk about that too?
There's
so many interesting things you don't have.
Yeah, we can talk about it another time as well. So
that's fine.
We got plenty of time in the future. This is like Lion-O, Lord of the Thundercats, some of the Masters of the Universe stuff that came out. I'm a huge a lot of the stuff from the 80s, early 80s, like, the original Transformers Generation 1, the He-Man series. I love the How to Train Your Dragon movies, so I've got
the making of book.
Oh my god,
it's so funny.
That's a sick statue.
Of course, the Sideshow Grogu. This is something I know that from Kessel on Transmissions, I know that Claire and Aubrey are big fans of Dark Crystal and Labyrinth. I've got a lot of these books and
I love the Dark
stuff.
I love the art books, the prequel art books. Those are my favorite books.
Yeah, some of these are like the original books. Some of them are more recent. Sorry, my hand's a little shaky on that. It was like
all good. Yeah, all good.
But then then I've got like all the art of books and then the making of and.
Doesn't it bother you how the making of New Hope is smaller than the rest of them?
Yes.
It's the worst thing. I have the same.
On the left, right?
Yeah. Actually, the one problem I've got there is weird. It's the only one I don't have in the hardcover.
Oh, it's the paperback.
So
no. Even in
really?
Even in the hardcover, and I have the hardcover. It's slightly
way. Oh, that's crazy.
Why would they do that?
I don't know.
I did get, again, they're getting into the dark areas here, but I did get the box ones of the miniature models and of the costumes. They had this incredible thing a few years ago in San Diego here, where they did the, so I'm going to walk through the other room now. They did this, turn on the light. They did the costumes of up to the Force Awakens, up to episode 3, I think it was. And it was really cool. Mm-hmm. So yeah, I've got the original trilogy posters. These are all the original ones I did get from the theaters when I worked at the theaters at the time. The only reason I worked at the only reason I worked at the movie theaters was right when episode 1 came out. I managed to work my way into the marketing department and managed to get control of everything. They only released they only released 5 of these posters per theater across the country. So each theater would only get 5 posters total. That's how limited they were. And I do have all 3 of the teaser posters as well. I just don't have them up because I don't have the space. But those were the same one. They only released 5 of them in each theater. So I've got a couple of other ones here. These are Australian day bills, which are small. Yeah, these are smaller posters. They're about 13 inches wide by about 30 inches tall. These actually came from Australia. So these were theatrical posters that got released in Australia. And this one is one of the more harder ones to get, which is the trilogy.
Oh, yeah, wait. So that like a...
Together.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. 1985, I think it was. Yeah,
83 on one
program. This has got 83, but I think it was 84 or 85 when they released the trilogy. Maybe it was 83. I don't know.
That's a really cool poster. Nice.
I've got a couple of these are some of the.
Is that Dark Crystal, right?
Dark Crystal.
This is Dark Crystal, but these guys are from. They actually used to make lobby cards for the movie.
I know about lobby cards.
And these are like. I think they're 12 by 16.
I love Mark Hamill's character in the.
In the new one, Age of Resistance was awesome. I was really.
Yeah, I heard that was really good.
And I have the Back to the Future ones as well.
Classics.
Indie over there, I like it.
Yeah.
Come on, who doesn't love Back to the Future? I mean, they're such awesome.
So those are lobby cards too, right?
Those are lobby cards of the Back to the Future. Yeah. They came in a set of 8.
What's your favorite indie movie, Brent?
Awesome.
Yeah. My favorite indie movie has got to be Temple of Doom. As much as everybody hated it, I absolutely loved Temple of Doom. Yeah, I mean, Last Crusade is also brilliant.
Last Crusade is really great too.
Yeah,
they're all great. They're all
they're all great. There's nothing wrong with them.
Not at all.
Except for number 4, maybe, but it's got a few more. But Temple of Doom. I just love the elements of what Temple of Doom was all about.
Same here.
Hey, look, Johnny, there it is. There's the poster.
Oh, wait, he has it. You have
What's that? What's that? Star Wars
the Empire Strikes Back poster.
This is the Empire Strikes Back day bill. So this is the Australian version.
That's the same print that Levi that we were talking about earlier.
It's my favorite one. It's one of the best.
It's a beautiful. Yeah, I have seen someone once had the bus shelter size version of that poster. And I can't remember where I saw it, but I was like, oh my God. But I think there was like 2,000
bucks. That's such an amazing poster. I love that one. The composition on that is insane.
Yeah. And these were Empire Strikes Back lobby cards as well, which were cool.
Oh my God.
I love that Boba Fett.
I always love this photograph is such a great image.
That shot is
it's just such a great shot. They had so many cool things.
Yeah, that one's cool too. Wow.
There's some cool, the lobby cards were awesome.
Lobby cards. I should pick up some of those. That'd be really cool. I bet those are kind of expensive nowadays, probably.
I haven't, honestly, I don't know. I mean, most of them are probably poster collectors. And I bought a lot of this stuff from poster collector places back in Australia, actually.
Oh, okay.
Let me just go in the other room here. This is my work room. So I've got my work table here where I build a lot of the stuff. I was telling you earlier that I was working on a Book of Boba Throne.
Oh my God.
This is what I've got right now. This is where I'm piecing it together.
That looks great.
I designed all this on the computer by myself.
That's so awesome.
There are other ones online you can actually get. This is only taped.
A lot of people made them, but they look great.
This is taped together. Awesome, but I did actually, again, it's in pieces right now. But I did actually, and that's a 12-inch scale one.
Yeah.
I've got like soundtracks. I've just been logging.
What line is that Boba from?
This one is the
97.
97, whatever. The Hasbro Kenner ones, 12-inch scale one.
That's what I thought.
Yeah. Okay. I was so close to getting their Sideshow Boba Fett, which is just officially gone up.
Oh God,
and then they released the other ones, and then that's on my order for next year. For
I assume you
the deluxe one with the two.
That's my next year. This is my movie soundtrack. I literally am a soundtrack fanatic. I love movie soundtracks.
Oh no, that's great.
And most of these are all theatrical soundtracks.
How do you feel about the solo John Powell's solo score?
I actually really enjoyed it. I've got a good friend, a friend of mine, someone I've worked with before, and and he actually did some composition on Solo along with John Powell, because he works for John Powell.
Cool.
And it was really cool to kind of learn that he did the piece where Lando, when Kira is in the Falcon and she pulls out the cape, Lando's cape and everything.
Yes,
there's a piece of romantic score between Han. He actually wrote that music for that, which is cool.
Wow, that's really cool.
This is a miniature built in Florida. I think I did a video on this.
You did a video on it, yep. I remember that.
But this was just like one of those, I was bored out of my mind living in Florida, and so I built this model. These are some actually original from the He-Man and the Master of the Universe. These are original cells that I found at the flea market. Yeah, I found them at the flea market, and they were selling them like $80 each. And I ended up getting 5 different cells over the course of a few months. Wow. But yeah, that's actually hand autographed by Lou Schreiner, who was a creator of the He-Man series.
Yeah.
Of the animated series, I should say.
Skeletor.
Oh my God,
Skeletor. Yeah,
there he is.
But
that's awesome.
These guys here.
Are those? Oh, those are Mythos statues. Those are cool.
Yeah. There were some cool little ones they did. What else have we got? This is a 3D printer that I've got. So this is a new one, but I'm trying to get the bed to level up. I've also got some original. Well, these are remakes of some of the Transformers, but they are like replica remakes, except for Megatron, who is an original from back in 1984. So that's one of the originals.
Did you see the super expensive Optimus Prime? It got revealed like a month ago or so, but it's the
one that transforms by itself.
Yeah, by itself.
Yeah, with voice control. That was cool. Yeah.
Well,
yeah,
that's insane.
So,
I love that Spider-Man poster.
So, all right. So this Spider-Man poster was when I first started working at the theaters and got myself into the marketing department. So, is there something you notice about this particular poster?
Well, it only says May 2008.
Yeah.
There's no title.
Oh, okay. I want to show you something else. Oh, sorry, bumped into it. I'll show you something else about this poster. I'm gonna get the right angle.
Oh, what's in his eye? Oh, is that the Twin Towers? Oh,
that's the Twin Towers.
The Twin Towers.
This is the poster with the Twin Towers.
Oh no!
This poster came out. Sorry about the reflection. This poster came out. In 2001, and was out for like maybe 2 months on the shelves before September 11th happened.
Right.
And then they were basically told to take it off and destroy every poster.
Yep.
Because they didn't want something was dated.
That's right.
And so I was lucky to get the original. That's a double-sided original.
Oh my God, I can't even imagine how much that poster is. Anyways, that's awesome.
Yeah, but it was just like one of those ones I've kept, aside. And of course, these are the things that you saw recently.
That's fantastic. Well,
but then
not.
But then I've got boxes full of stuff and more stuff and more stuff and whatever.
All this stuff.
Go back to more stuff.
What's that? Oh yeah, this is the sheer. So yeah, I got a handful of these original The copies.
That's awesome. Those look great.
Yeah. So supposedly the copies on the right are just photocopies and the backgrounds are photocopies. But if you take any one of these cells out from the frame, and these were done well over 35 years ago, the smell of the paint is still fresh. Of the actual, it's like
just been in the case for so long. Wow.
Yeah, which is kind of cool.
Awesome. Oh my
so
that's so awesome. You were mentioning, to go back to the solo thing.
You were
mentioning in our Discord the other day about how you love driving down the freeway listening to what is it, reminiscence therapy, or
yes,
yeah.
I think this is called
yeah.
I love that.
Am I losing you guys or
a little bit?
Oh, okay. Am I lagging?
You are.
Quite a bit, yeah.
Okay, well, hang on. Okay. Oh, damn. Am I going to make it into the bedroom then? Hang on. Sorry, guys.
All good.
So this is the main.
Oh, I see a Boba helmet.
Okay, I see. I'm getting a little bit of it.
Oh, yeah.
Darth Vader. Oh, it's green.
Now your screen's all green.
AgeofGrogu.
Grogu. Hang on.
AgeofGrogu.
Yeah. Okay. This is as far as I can go into my room.
Well, it looks amazing.
That looks fantastic.
Now I'm gonna have to get my Now I have to get something longer. I'm sorry. I thought I would have made it all through here. Now let me try this again.
All good.
Well, you don't.
This has been great so far.
Oh yeah, you're kind of.
Oh my God! Look at those. Oh my God, that's such a good show for the sequel.
I'm gonna try to get a different angle. Hang on. All right.
Wow, those environments are amazing.
Am I still?
Yeah, we can see.
Yep.
Yeah. Eventually, I'm going to videotape all this, but there are areas like I'm rebuilding. One day, I'll get back to this.
This is meant to be the executor.
Yes.
Yeah. Just the bridge there. But eventually, I'm going to be doing some other displays down here. This is the.
Oh my god!
Nice.
This is a more recent one I built, the cantina. I think I'm freezing again, aren't I?
Yeah,
a little bit.
I'm gonna. Oh yeah.
Don't want to spoil too much for your own.
Back to Grogu.
Yeah.
Back to the AgeofGrogu.
Oh, I'm out again. All right, so I'm gonna take it back and. I'm gonna go back.
Oh, it's us! Inception.
Oh, reception. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. But yeah,
awesome. Those look fantastic, Brent.
Sweet.
Oh my
god.
Go
check out Brent's channel for the
please do a video on that. Yeah, that'd be
can't wait to see your official room tour video.
Yes.
Yeah, hang on a second. Give me just a second. I'll plug myself back in.
Podcast.
Whoa!
Oh, sorry. sorry guys. All right.
Here we go.
There we go.
Okay, now I realize now I know the length of my reception there.
Yeah. The router there, yeah.
The router, yeah. I'm gonna have to move that router.
That was great. Thank you
for
showing us. That
was
really
cool, guys. Yeah.
Yes, sounds good.
Thanks for taking the journey through that.
So
longest podcast ever.
Yeah. I know.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
No, not a bad thing at all. We'll do the. So Brent, I think you know
didn't even
about
ask
this.
Brent any questions.
I know. We've been talking for so long, just about whatever.
Oh, yeah.
It's been awesome. Brent, I assume you know about the little tier listing we've been doing.
He knows.
He knows.
Sorry, the what? Sorry. Yeah. Oh yes. Oh yes. Yes.
For people who don't know, we've been doing this for like the past good amount of episodes. We've been having guests on. We've been showing us a tier list, and this is a tier list in the beginning that Dylan, Levi, and I all created together, kind of putting our opinions together and our rankings together. And as we've gone through the episodes, we've had each guest pick one thing to move around, up, down, whatever. And now we're gonna throw it to Brent. So Brent, you know the deal. What do you?
I made this choice weeks ago. I am so sorry, I am so sorry, Jedi Jive. I think it was you who put it down there, but no, Star Wars should be in the awful category, not even for one time.
Only,
That was Star Wars only.
That was Star Wars only. I'm sorry, Star Wars only. I'm gonna bring Star Wars only up. Take it in front of Rise of Skywalker. Yeah. Because Rise of Skywalker and Resistance both, unfortunately, for me, were a little bit too up. There were some things in there that needed some work, and I feel that Clone Wars, at the end of the day, has grown on me, and
that's the Clone Wars movie.
That's the movie, exactly.
Yeah.
Yes, but it has grown on me. It has grown on me.
It has on me as well.
That's hot.
That is my placement. Nothing should sit at absolutely awful. So in my opinion, but yeah, I kind of am putting that right there. As I said, it's like I did watch all of Resistance, and Resistance was a chore to really get through from week to week. They had a few highlights, but I really
good stuff in there. It's
in
the fine category. It's in the fine category.
Oh, there's definitely it just felt like there was some elements of resistance to me that felt like it was targeted at 5-year-olds rather than a 12-year-old kid.
Yes, the Kaz bonked his head.
Yeah. Now here's the thing. I actually did work with Christopher Sean, who played Kaz about 12, 13 years ago.
Wow.
Really nice guy. Really awesome. I was thrilled when he got the chance. I still don't really connect with him these days, but I was thrilled when I saw he got that role, which was awesome. It was very deserving.
I wish he was an episode.
Having a role in Star Wars is insane.
A role in Star Wars is insane, but it's like he would make a really great live action Asian American book.
I wish he was
the real Kaz in real life.
Yeah, I wish because he's in the novelization.
Episode
Kaz is in Kaz. Yeah, he's at the Battle of Exegol.
Oh,
but
okay.
Because you can see the ships in the movie.
I know the ships.
And you can see.
I haven't really watched Resistance, so
you can see the ships, but it's in the novelization. But I wish they did like that. all the different wings calling in, and I wish we could have
seen I wish we could have seen that.
Cool.
The animation and the ship design was gorgeous in Resistance. I just had this thing with that the way Nico was even more annoying to me than any other character. That was the Nikto.
That was a Nikto, right? Yeah.
Yeah, he was
Nico the Nikto. Is that really
Nico the Nikto, I think it was. Yeah, he was even more annoying than the Kaz character for me. But there was, as I said, there was elements in that show that worked.
I liked Yeager.
And Yeager was cool. Yeager was awesome. I just wish it kind of focused a bit more on the Yeager kind of stuff and less about Kaz doing the same mistake week after week, and there was no character.
The First Order stuff and the pirate stuff I enjoyed.
Yeah, again, it was the reality was there was the characters didn't develop strong enough for me. There was the same character at the end of the series that they were at the beginning. There wasn't a strong character development for most of the main characters.
The design of Kragan's pirate ship, I think, is one of the coolest things.
That was cool. I loved the whole pirates, and they didn't explore them as far enough as I wanted them to as well. But there was missed opportunities, in my opinion, from that series. But there was some beautiful animation. I just still kind of consider it the weakest of all the Star Wars franchises.
I think
to this date. Yeah.
I concur with that. It's my weakest thing. It's always it's the bottom of my
right. Yeah.
What do you guys say we spin the wheel and outro this?
Spin the wheel and outro. This has been a hell of a podcast. I don't even know if we didn't even ask Brent. We didn't even ask Brent any questions.
That's all right. Well, next time, guys, I'd be glad to come.
Yeah, we gotta ask. Yeah. We actually have to go through the questions next.
Right, I know.
All right. Well, I'm spinning this wheel. If it's me again, I'm going to scream.
We just did an interview with no questions.
It's you, buddy.
It's me.
But not yet.
It's John.
Hey.
All right. So here we are wrapping up. It has been a journey. This episode, I think this is probably our longest one, or going to be our longest one. So that is a good thing, though. So Brent, congrats to you for that, I guess.
Oh, thank you.
But thank you everybody for watching. Please go check out Brent's channel. It's awesome stuff. Obviously, you can tell he's very passionate about Star Wars. So obviously, we all kind of share that. So go check out his stuff.
I like Star Wars.
Yes, I think so. Maybe a little bit.
Do I like Star Wars?
Yeah.
Star Trek.
I think we all equally love Star Wars. Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. And
big Stargate
but
guy.
You have a really interesting kind of all the collectibles and the models and stuff is something that I'm really fascinated in too. So if you're interested in that, go check out his channel, please. It's really cool. He's
it's growing. It's slow, but it's getting there. Yeah.
It was a recent thing he started, but it's great so far. So definitely go check it out. And Brent, thank you so much for coming on.
Thanks for having me on, guys. Yeah, it was great. It was a lot of fun.
Brent's been kind of in our community for a little bit, so obviously,
great community member.
Great community member. So
great community in general.
Yeah, we've been the nerd herd is growing, I guess. But anyways, thank you guys so much for watching. Subscribe to Brent, AgeofGrogu. Subscribe to us if you haven't already. And take care, everybody, and may the force be with you.
Pass on what you've learned, guys. Thank you.
Bye.
Woo.